your share screen now on the YouTube, right? I gotta click share screen on the YouTube. Right? Live masterclass Zoom. What? Okay, I'm saying share screen or live masterclass. So I click on that. I'm gonna hit share.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, I see it on both screens.
Charts are working good. Now let me make sure slides are working.
Okay, you don't need anything else?
All right. And sharing slides. Hope I didn't blind you. Should have warned you. It's pretty bright.
So yeah, it says it's been live for.
All right. And can you guys see slides?
On the right.
Okay, cool. Cool. Last time we had some technical difficulties, so I just had to make sure before we get started, because my ADHD can't handle some technical difficulties. We got to just go. Xavier, no, this is not. All right, we're going to stop sharing. And then the last thing is my notes. All right, and share. All right, this is the one that gave us issues last time. Let's see if it works. Also, I'm going to blind y'all again. Can you guys see broker statement notes? All right. Cool. Okay, we're good to go. Amazing. Things are working. I love it. Let's do a quick audio visual check. I'm seeing some people are saying no sound, some people are saying sound. Can I get a yes from everyone if you can hear my voice? Yes from everyone. Okay, amazing. If you cannot hear my voice, you're going to have to leave and come back because that's a you problem. All right, and I'm sure everyone can see me, I'm assuming. What emoji am I? Put in the emoji what I'm doing right now. If y'all can see me. Okay, all right. Okay, we're good. I just had to make sure. Okay, cool. So welcome in, guys. Welcome to the masterclass tonight. I'm going to start with going through some slides before we get into the charts, before we get into strategy, which I know all y'all can't wait for. It's the best part. As soon as we get into the charts, you guys can start seeing the strategy. You guys can start seeing entries, exits, where we would have gotten in, where we would have gotten out, real-time price action, super fun, nitty-gritty stuff. But before we get into it, I do want to get you guys prepared. I want to walk through some psychology first. I want to also just tell my story a little bit for some of you guys that maybe don't know me as well, before we get into the actual strategy part. All right, let's do it. Cecilia, this is live. Hello, I see your chat coming right in. All right, prepare your eyes. There it is. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next slide and just darken us up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, for everyone that is a complete newbie, I need to know, which you guys are probably already one step ahead of me. I should have said it first before we open the slides. For everyone that has never taken a trade before, I need to see how we're going to modify this masterclass. I need to know how many beginners we have, what level of experience everyone is at. I've got some freedom to kind of riff for tonight's masterclass. So I just need to know where everyone is at. So if you have never taken a trade before, drop a 1 in the chat. If you have never placed a trade before. Okay, we still got a lot of 1s coming in. All right, Josh, I see ya. Carlos, I see you. Amber. Okay. We got a -1. All right. Got it. -111. Okay. All right, we still got 1s in the chat. I want to see how many. So I want to keep going until they die down just to get an idea for how many complete absolute beginners we have. Never taken a trade before. We got some 1s. We got lots of 1s. If you're typing in anything other than 1, I don't know what that means. All right. I don't know. Okay, Gail. Okay. Okay, the ones started slowing down. So I'd say a decent amount. Now this is going to be the determining factor here. Next slide. Oh, slide is gone. 2, if you have taken a trade before. We might have more traders tonight than not. Okay. We got a significant amount of traders in the chat. Tons of twos. Okay. All right, this is good to know. Now I can figure out how to go through strategy. So we might not have to go so beginner. Okay, we got our twos. How is everyone responding so fast? All right, I'm going to keep going until the twos slow down. So, which I think they might have now. Okay. Oh, we still got some ones coming in. All right, I think we've got more viewers that have actually taken at least a trade before than not. So this is good to know, just for my mental, just so that I can know the direction to take this masterclass tonight. Okay, amazing. Now, before we get into the strategy, I want to make you guys a deal. I'm going to give you guys everything that I know about trading and what actually works in the next 90 minutes. I don't know if you guys knew this was a 90-minute masterclass, but it is, and I'm going to try to stick to that as much as I can. I want to respect you guys' time, and I want to respect my own time, and I want to try to work on staying on time. So in the next 90 minutes, I'm going to walk you guys through everything that I have learned over the past 11 years and what actually works, as much as I can. I mean, there's only so much we can go over in 90 minutes, so I will give you as much as I possibly can in 90 minutes. By the end of tonight, if you feel like you've gotten so much value that you want to know how me and my team can be in your corner, there will be a way to do that for anyone that's going to be wondering or asking. But before we start, I'm going to give you guys a glimpse of what it looks like to apply everything that we go over today. One of our top students. So one, I need to just give you guys the idea, the reason why I'm even sharing a student's journey or a student's success, or even my own journey and my own success, is that before we get into strategy, I need to get heavily into psychology. This is, and I'm not usually like a very, motivational speaker, and I don't always know the right things to say, but what I do know is the journey that I've went through and the progress that I've made and how incredible it is. And I've seen students who have done similar success. And what most people like to do is figure out, like, what do they have in common? Like, I don't know if any of you guys read any self-help, any financial books, any motivational. These are things that we strive to learn because we want to know what did they do? What do they have in common? What do people do to get them to the next level? And this is exactly why I'm going to walk you guys through my story and a story with my students, and not only just one, but a few. So I want you guys to just envision this tonight, that before we get started, you've got to believe that you can do this. And if you've made it here tonight, then you have obviously understood that, okay, Tory trades a fairly simple strategy. So much so that you could probably believe that you could do it. If you guys have found this webinar, and the reason you're here tonight is because the simplicity, yes, Thomas, exactly, because of the simplicity of the strategy, then you're going to be enlightened, very enlightened. This is going to be super motivating. But before we get into strategy, I truly need you guys to know that it is possible. You got to believe that you can do this. You got to believe in me, which is why I'm going to tell my story. You got to believe in some of my students so that you can kind of relate. Relatability helps so much. And I might take too much time talking about this, but I really think it's important, and I'm going to riff a little bit. When you're looking to move to a next level, to get to a higher level, one, how do you know what the next level looks like? You have to have somebody kind of lead the way. What does the next level look like? And when you find people that are at a level that you want to be at, naturally, you want to do some research on them and see, where did they start? Because you always wonder, was everything handed to them, or did they actually work hard and they got what they wanted? And then when you go and see this person, you're like, okay, where did they start? Did they start in a similar position to me? And if you can believe that, okay, if we started in the same position, why not? Why would I not be able to reach that level? Why would I not be able to get that success if we started on a very level playing field? We both were in the same position. Now, everyone's story is going to be very different, but there's going to be some things that you can relate to, that you can identify with and be like, oh, I feel like I'm just like that. I'm just like that person. I started in the same position. I'm just like that. So it really helps kind of solidify it. And if you guys don't know much about me, I'm heavy on manifesting. Some of you guys might think it's, frou-frou, or like I've never even said that word in my life. Like, it's more like zodiac stuff, and it's the word I'm looking for isn't there, but some people just might think it's silly. When I tell you guys, there is actual scientific data behind it. Whether that's just the way that your brain operates by writing something down over and over and over. Thank you. Yes, Jonathan, exactly. The law of attraction. There is actually some science behind it. So if you have never tried manifesting, if you've never tried journaling, writing down your goals, envisioning yourself being successful, try it. After tonight, highly recommend. It's something that a lot of successful people have in common. They have envisioned it first before they actually made it. They wrote it down. They talk to themselves in the mirror with affirmations. There's so many things. Thank you guys on the frou-frou. You really drove it home. But this is the reason why I want to walk you guys through just some stories. Before I talk about myself, I want to talk about one of our top students. This is Arslan. Arslan was able to get $26.5 thousand in payouts in January this year. That's incredible, especially when you hear the story. Who is Arslan? Arslan was an IT professional. I already gave it away. Arslan is an IT professional and financially stable, but he was looking for something more. And I want you guys to, I'll try to just skim through this post that he made. So he made this post on January 20th of this year, and he said, feeling very blessed and grateful, just received my second and my biggest payout of $20,000 in January. Apex Payouts is now at a total of $26,000.5 in roughly 2 weeks. As my 6 months in TLT journey is coming to an end, I want to sincerely thank all of my coaches. He had Piero, Michon, and Blake. I learned something valuable at every stage. Above all, the Q&As and the implementation calls for Tory were incredible, amazing, cool. Okay. But the most important part here is, and I'm curious if anyone's taken notes tonight. If anybody has taken notes, let me know in the chat. Okay, Kristen is. Okay, cool. Then I'll prompt you guys for some notes tonight that I think are going to be super helpful. So we're going to start with this one here. I want you guys to write down what Arslan's vision of his success was, or if he had to just put his success in one sentence, what could he attribute that to? So for those of you guys taking notes, I want you guys to write down what Arslan thinks was a result of his success. This result highlights the power of group trading and executing one idea consistently across multiple accounts while staying disciplined with risk and process. I know that is a whole mouthful, and if we want to make some spark notes, you guys can do that. But we're going to come back to this concept many times tonight. So I'm going to say it one more time for the kids in the back. This result highlights the power of group trading and executing one idea consistently while staying disciplined with risk and process. So that's kind of like the Spark Notes version. So if you guys are taking notes, go ahead and finish that one up. Very important. But who is Arslan? So Arslan was an IT professional, financially stable, but was looking for something more. Background: very analytical, calm, and a calculated personality. And I don't know if we might not have any TLT fam here in the chat, but if we do, and you guys have heard Arslan in any of the Q&A sections, you guys know that very analytical, very calm, and calculated. Oh, hey, John Henry. So he applied the system and the process that I'm going to show you guys. He was in his career that he didn't quite enjoy, which, listen, it is what it is. I mean, I was in a position where I was doing something I didn't want to do. And I'm curious if any of you guys can relate, either in a career or working in a profession that you don't quite enjoy. Do we have, yeah, we got a few. Okay, Jessica says that's me right now. All right. Dude, I was in the same boat, same page. Well, he did find a passion for trading and the freedom that came with it. In Arslan's first 4 to 5 weeks, he already blown a few accounts. Does anyone know what a blown account means? I know we've got some super beginners in here, so I do want to kind of walk through some terminology. Okay, we've got a few. We got a few that doesn't know what that means. So there are 2 types of accounts that you can trade when it comes to trading. One is your own personal account. Think of it like your own bank account. That means that you go into trading, you put your money in your bank account, and then a blown account means you lose it all. Gone, disappeared. Another type of account is funded account. That means you're trading somebody else's money. And what you do in a funded account, which is called a prop firm, if you don't know what it is, and essentially in order to trade somebody else's money, you have to take a test. They got to make sure that you're a good trader. If you pass the test, boom, you get access to somebody else's money. So then you can trade this money. But to be able to take that test, you have to pay a fee. Think of it like you got to pay to go take the SAT. So you got to pay to take this test to be able to get access to somebody else's money. And that fee varies. Sometimes it's $10, sometimes it's $50, sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's $200. So we'll say around $200 to take this test to get access to somebody else's money. Now, what does a blown account look like on that kind of account? A blown account with funded money means that you have failed the test and you lost what you paid to take the test. So that means you were trading, but you didn't lose the amount that you lost in the trade. You lost your initial cost to take that test, which is somewhere between, $50 to $100 to $200. That's what you lose. So 2 types of blown accounts. One is blowing an account that's somebody else's money, which we'll get into a little bit later. There's so many terminology and so many ways to explain what a prop firm is, but I'm just giving you guys like the bare bones basics of it. So if you blow an account with the prop firm where somebody else's money or funded money, you just lose what it cost you to take the test. So you lost your $200. Or if you fund your own account, you put your own money into a trading account, you lose everything that you put in there. Whether that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5, 10, whatever it may be, the amount of money that you put in to start trading, whatever that account is, a blown account means you've lost it all, everything. So this is what a blown account means. So I won't spend too much more time talking about blown accounts. I just wanted the newbies to know what that means. So Arslan, in the first 4 to 5 weeks, he already blew an account. And he blew a few, not just one. Now how? What happened? What went wrong? He was looking at charts too much, which everyone that's already placed a trade before, I'm sure you guys can imagine what it's like to stare at charts for far too long. Far too long. I'm curious if anyone knows. Fabio, I'm sorry, but we are going to stick to this pace. Okay, cool. So you guys already understand, and I've been there too. Dude, looking at charts for hours, you start to hallucinate a little bit. You start seeing stuff that's not actually there. I have done that. I've been there. And that's exactly what Arslan was doing. He also switched up strategies mid-trade, like on a regular basis. So I'm curious how many of you guys have switched strategies. Now, I know we had more people that have at least placed a trade before. For those of you guys that have placed a trade at least, how many of you guys have switched strategies? And what that means is just reasons why you get in or reasons why you get out. What are your tactics for getting in? Okay, so we got quite a few. So I want you guys to know what not to do so that when we get into strategy, you guys know what to do. When we go over what not to do, we are just looking to do the exact opposite. What do the losers do? What do people that blow accounts do? What do people that overtrade do? Like, what is the common factor in people that are unprofitable? What do they all do? What does their trading look like? What is their day-to-day? As much as we can do the exact opposite, the more likely we are to reach profitability. And I know it might sound, just understand that we're looking to do the opposite of what losers do, essentially. And I know that sounds a little harsh. But Arslan switched up strategies mid-trade and wasn't properly trailing stop losses. We'll get into stop losses when we get into strategy tonight. If you don't know what it is, it's just essentially like how much you're willing to risk per trade, how much money you're willing to lose. And I'll walk you guys through what trailing means when we get into strategy as well. But these are the common factors. These are some of the things that Arslan did that was keeping him from being profitable and why he was blowing accounts. He tried everything. He was consistently learning different strategies and dedicating the time day and night. So you're thinking, okay, well, what went wrong? If he is dedicating plenty of time, he's consistent with his learning, what's the issue here? Well, he found this strategy. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, and we already talked a little bit about it at the beginning, but if you truly can believe that you can do this, if you actually believe that you're capable, the likelihood of you being successful is so much higher. Like, you just got to understand, if I was to show you guys some rocket science tonight, you'd be like, dude, no way can I do this. I'm going the other direction. Like, you wouldn't even believe. I could show you all of the stories. I could show you everyone's success. I could show you my success. But then when I walk you guys through strategy and then it looks like a foreign language and rocket science, you're going to be like, yeah, no way. That ain't for me. I need you guys to truly believe that you can do this, that this strategy is tangible, it's digestible, it's understandable, it's easy to comprehend. And I promise you guys, when we get into the charts, it will be. So that is the most important part. So Arslan found this strategy. This is a recent update from Arslan. Very recent WhatsApp message. I am now trading full-time. The short-term goal was to replace my job income with trading, and that was fully replaced around the time that I was about to graduate from TLT. If you don't know what TLT is, remember I had said, if you guys want me and my team in your corner, there will be room for that tonight, but we still want to get into strategy and psychology. Based on consistency, we decided to relocate to Dubai. And how many of y'all know that anybody that's going to Dubai has found a level of success? That is the name of the game. It's either Puerto Rico or Dubai, you know what I'm saying? So Arslan relocated to Dubai. Long term, it's about financial freedom and building something sustainable for myself. I want to treat trading as a real business, scale properly. And then since you guys know he is an IT guy, very techie, he's looking to develop some sort of EA or kind of AI self-trading program for himself. Nothing that I know much about, but I'm going to continue to check in with Arslan just to see how it's going. Now, tonight, I'm going to show you guys exactly why most traders never make it. So we already saw kind of what Arslan had in common. Like, what was Arslan's issues? What was he doing wrong? Why did he keep blowing accounts? So we kind of got an idea for that. This is what we're going to be covering. Why 90% of traders fail. And this part is the kicker, which most people do not believe. It has nothing to do with strategy. And I'm curious if you guys know why it has nothing to do with strategy. JM, that's a good guess there. Psychology is fair, yes. But let me see if someone guesses it. It does have a lot to do with, psychology is mega. And I know a lot of people are like, it's about strategy. It's not about psychology. And a similar concept would be, before I explain to you guys why it has nothing to do with strategy, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. The gym works. Going to the gym, it works. Does it not? You can go, I go to the gym. Some people go to the gym. Why is everyone not ripped, fit, beach bod, buff? Why is everyone not like that? If the gym works, why? Has to do with the person. Yes, exactly. I saw a ton of great answers. And there's so many things that you can do at the gym. You can do squats. So if you can understand that the gym works, trading works, why do people not make it? Why is that percentage, and I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, why is that percentage 90? It has a lot to do with psychology, but also understanding that most traders fail, and it has nothing to do with strategy because there are so many different strategies. There are so many different ways to work out. There are so many different strategies that have data backed behind it, that have been tested. So I want you guys to understand that strategy is not the issue. And then I'm going to walk you guys through the system that has helped me go from nothing, which we'll say nothing, but technically 5K to 500K. There was a point in my life where I was at nothing, but then I was able to do $500,000 in trading profits. When I show you guys broker statements, you guys will see that I started with $5,000. Now, what separates the traders who actually make it from the ones that don't? And a lot of you guys already guessed it. It's consistency. It's discipline. It's self-belief. Felipe, absolutely correct there. That's one too. Jay, I'll walk you guys through what it looks like. So we're going to go through all of the broker statements, my journey as well. The my journey one is so freaking exciting. Okay, so we'll talk about me. We'll talk about myself, me, oh my, myself, and I. I was trying to do that country song, but I forgot it. Want to talk about me? Want to talk about I? So I'm going to take you guys back to 2023. And by this point, now you guys know that I've been trading for 11 years now. If you don't, I've been trading for 11 years. So in 2023, I had already been trading for many years. In 2023, I didn't have any crazy goals. I had one, and it was don't blow my account. Remember, we already talked about what does blowing an account mean. That was my goal. My goal was to just don't do that. Don't blow the account. And before I walk you guys through the actual $100,000, oh my God, did I just give it away? Dang it, I just gave it away. Before I walk you guys through that year, I want you guys to understand that I didn't come from money. So a lot of people, remember when I was talking about how when you're looking to level up, when you're looking to replicate someone's success or work towards someone else's level, you need someone to be there to like show you what's possible, to show you what to work towards. Yeah, spoiler alert. But I want you guys to understand that when you're doing your research on the person that you aspire to be or aspire to be like, or the success that they have, if you look to replicate that, you always want to go back and see, okay, but where did they start? Did they start similar to me, or did they have everything handed to them? And I want you guys to know that I am not the one that had everything handed. I didn't come from money. I didn't have someone giving me money to trade with. I just need you guys to understand that I didn't come from anything. Now Al or AI, I'm not sure, Al, I did have an uncle that taught me a strategy. And you know, this is actually a good time to talk about this. So I had an uncle that was my mentor that taught me how to trade. But I want you guys to know that he was my uncle and had his own family to support. I still grew up not in his family, in my family, which was a single mom with 4 girls. We were on food stamps, trailer hopping. So even though my uncle had success, he didn't have enough, or maybe he just wasn't in a position to help the entire family. We've got 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. I think we've got over like 50 cousins. We got a huge family. So I was just related to him. I didn't get to have any of his success. So when I'm walking you guys through my story and my journey, I had someone teach me a strategy, but I did not have someone hand me money and say, here you go, whatever you need, take it. I did not have anything handed to me. So this is where I want you guys to, and maybe the relatability comes. Maybe you guys have that family member. Maybe you've got that family member that is so successful and you're like, oh, I want to be like them. I want to be able to take my family to this next level. I want to be in a position maybe to where I can kind of start to be so successful that that some of that success can leak into my extended family. Like, so if you want to be that person, luckily I had him to aspire to be like. But just keep in mind that I didn't get to reap any of his success. His family was very comfortable. He got to be at home all the time, go on trips. He had a beautiful house by the river. That is not my story. That is his story. So I just want you guys to understand, did not come from money. I also didn't have a finance degree. I don't think that I was very smart in school. And I don't know if many of you guys can relate. I went to 4 different junior highs, 4 different high schools, and I was fairly invisible in school and barely passed, barely got my high school diploma. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but I just was not very articulate. Wasn't in any of the AP classes, wasn't very advanced. I'm telling you guys, I barely finished. I floated through. I was invisible for most of my school. In junior high and high school, was not very smart. So I want you guys to know, finance degree, no, not me. All I had was a strategy that my uncle had taught me and a ton of mistakes. So trading after 11 years, you guys could imagine the amount of mistakes that I've made over the last decade. I'm going to share with you guys the painful lessons that I made so that you guys don't have to. I'm living proof that anyone can do this. With the right system, anyone can do this. So I need you guys to understand, anyone, if you were invisible in school, if you weren't very smart, if you didn't think of yourself as very smart, if you didn't come from money, this is possible. I am living proof of that. So, spoiler alert, you guys already know, in 2023, I was able to make my first $100,000. But before I tell you guys how much do you guys think that I started with that year? In 2023, so remember, I had already been trading. How much money do you guys think that I had in 2023 to make $100,000? Someone says 20,000, someone says 5, 20, 10, 25, 7,500, 100,000, 2,000, 5,000. All right, we've got a few of you guys guessed it. A few of you guys guessed it. I started an account with 20,000. So I had 20,000, a $20,000 balance. That's how much money I had to trade with. The year that I made $100,000. It was so exciting. But there is a but. I don't know if many of you guys know. Some of you guys maybe have already been following along my journey. You've been keeping up with me for that many years to where you guys were able to see this. I documented all of it. You guys can go back on YouTube and watch it. But there's a but. I had the hardest time that year. I decided to experiment with something new. Does anyone know what I experimented with in 2023? Yes. Okay. We got a lot of correct answers. So you guys already know. I did something very difficult. I decided to change time frames. Now, for all of the newbies here that might not know what time frame means, what is time frame? You know what? I'm curious. I might not even need to spend time on this. How many of you guys do not know what time frames mean when it comes to trading? Only knows. Only the people that do not know. Okay. Amazing. Here we go. Getting into it. Super quick little debrief or understanding of what time frames means. So when you are trading, you can pick any time frame that you would like. And the way that I want you guys to envision time frame is like a pie or a cake or cheese or whatever it wants to be. You've got price. You've got a chart and you've got just simply think of it like price. Price is a pie, price is a cake. You can slice it in any way that you want, but it's still a cake or it's still a pie. It's still the price. It's still done what it's done. But you can slice it however you like. You could slice it in half, just 2 big chunks, and that could be a monthly or a weekly time frame. And what does that mean? That means you are looking at the amount of time that goes by as price moves. So you can trade a 1-hour time frame. That means you're looking at the price move for 1 hour at a time. 1 hour at a time, price is moving. 1 hour at a time, price is moving. Or you can trade something like a 4-hour. You're going to watch price move for 4 hours at a time. 4 hours at a time. But it is all still the same cake. All the price is still there. It's still the same cake. It's still the same pie. It's just your preference. How do you like to cut it? Do you like to cut it very small, very slim, to where you can trade maybe something called a 5-minute time frame, to where you are trading, you're watching the price move in increments of 5 minutes, watching the price move in increments of 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Also, if I have anybody on my team tonight, if you guys could moderate the chat, that'd be super helpful. Thank you guys. So you're just thinking of, you have the price in trading and you're just seeing how you like to cut it, how you like to slice it. All personal preference. So that is kind of an overview of what time frames mean. So the way that you slice it is going to be the way that your time frame or your designated time frame or your preferred time frame. So when we think of slicing cake, slicing pie, that's also how we're thinking of slicing price, which is called time frame. You get to pick your own time frame. Neither one is, better than the other. It still tastes delicious. So this is another part that I want you guys to understand before we continue through, is that it still tastes exactly the same. And just because you cut it in half doesn't make this side better than this side, or if you cut it in 4s, makes it any better. It's still the same cake. It's just how do you prefer to have your cake? So I moved from something called a 1 hour time frame to a 4 hour time frame. The result? I brought my account balance all the way down to $12,000. So you guys remember we started with 20 and we're down to 12 publicly. We did this publicly. It was humiliating. I struggled. I was second guessing the decision I had even made. So remember, you saw Arslan blew an account after 4 to 5 weeks. My first month of experimenting with a new time frame, lost so much money. Went from $20,000 slowly down to 12. So it was humiliating. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, very discouraging, but I did not quit. 2023 was a year of persistence over perfection. Imagine if I had only wanted perfection, and if I got anything less, then I quit, then I gave up, and I didn't want it. This is where it is all about persistence. So the actual starting point to get to that 100,000 was 12,000 now. Now we're working with 12,000. $12,000, and we still got to get to, which you guys already know what the goal was or what the ending balance was. It was $100,000. So this wasn't like a 20,000 to 100,000. We really took a mega dip. First month of the year, 2023, mega decline, 20 to 12. So this was, now we got to go from 12. We still got to make it to $100,000. Now I want to show you guys, it's very purple. Hello. I'm just making sure you guys are awake. You're still here? You're still paying attention? Essentially, Jason, yes. So I want to walk you guys through the actual statements. Now, some of you guys may not care to see this. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, I've never seen something like this before. If you've been in the trading industry, you have probably never seen many educators show something like this. And this is called a broker statement. What is a broker statement? A broker statement is, think of it like a bank statement. When you go through your bank account at the end of every month, your bank sends you a statement showing you how much money you spent, essentially. And maybe how many deposits, how many withdrawals, and then it'll show you like a nice little balance at the bottom. I'm going to walk you guys through my broker statements, or my AKA bank statements of my trading account here, that will show you guys the entire 2023, what it looked like, and how insane that year was to me. So I want you guys to see that. Now, I understand that some of you guys are not going to believe this, and some of you guys are. And I've already come to terms with that. I have a fairly decent following on social media that I've been hit with it all. So if some of you guys think this is Photoshop, there's not much I can do for you. I can share my journey with you guys. I can share students' journeys with you guys. I can share my broker statements with you guys. At that point, there is not much more I can share. So if you are thinking that I have Photoshopped this and that I have been, and to be honest, to be able to do that takes a next level of genius to be able to go through all of these accounts, all of these numbers, make sure everything lines up. I ain't that smart. Okay, remember we talked about that? So I want to walk you guys through these broker statements, and we can do it very quickly because I want to get into strategy. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is me putting you guys in the right place to where I wanted you guys to believe in yourself. I want you guys to believe in the strategy, but I also want you guys to believe in me. So this is just my version of continuing to, there's actually a saying that I want to walk you guys through, and it's healthy skepticism. I don't know if many of you guys have read the 4 Agreements or the 5th Agreement. Huge fan over here. But the 5th Agreement is talking about healthy skepticism. You got to have healthy skepticism. You can't believe everything. Oh, yes, Jonathan, exactly. You can't believe everything. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. So that's why I want you guys to have healthy skepticism. I want you guys to come in here tonight and be like, okay, but like, I'm a little skeptical, but show me. Show me why I can believe this, why I can believe in myself, why I can believe in the strategy, why I can believe in you. And this is my version of doing that tonight. Yes, so huge fan of the 5th Agreement. All right, here we go. I'm going to move from our slides here to some broker statements. Give me just a moment. Go ahead and get some water. Make sure y'all are awake here. We still got strategy to get into, which is the most exciting part. But to be honest, I'm more excited about this part only because there's just not a whole lot of people that share something like this. If you guys are in the industry, not a lot of people. Also, if I have my team in the chat, please go through these comments and make sure we are moderating and removing. Please, please, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a very, very healthy community here. And I need to make sure my team is on it, getting rid of those that aren't healthy. Okay. Give me just a moment. We are going to share our screen. Oh, and for those of you guys that are fasting because of Ramadan, do not drink your water. For those of you that are not, I got to make sure that I'm staying hydrated. I think Ramadan is still happening. I'm not 100% certain. Okay. I'm about to blind y'all, so just get ready. Oh, there it is. All right, now give me just a moment. I have to make sure my chat is still pulled up. Okay, I want to walk you guys through this. So this right here is January. This is the statement from January 2023. These are all of the trades that I placed. This is everything here. This is the position size that I was trading. This was the instrument that I was trading. This is how much I made, how much I lost. You guys can see commissions over here, fees over here, the whole 9 yards. This is what a broker statement looks like. Very similar to a bank statement. So this right here is my January 2023. And we can see a whopping negative $6,000 here. We lost $6,000 in 2023. We're moving on to February. Okay, different story here. What is our ending balance? So I'm going to move through this just as fast as I can. This just solidifies that I want you guys to see the ups and downs of this. I want you guys to see the journey, the path. What did it look like? And I want you guys to see also the journey from moving from a 1 hour time frame, a 1 hour slice in the pie, to a 4 hour slice in the pie, just a bigger slice, and how tricky this journey was. So in February of 2023, I made $8,000. So we've got ending balance here, 21,000, and this month's activity, 8,710. So boom, we bounced right back. We were good to go. Let's do it. We're feeling like, okay, I got this. This is a new time frame. Amazing. Now we're going to the next month, March. And of course, it's not showing up. Quick look at attachment here. There it is. 2022, 2022, 2023. We always got some sort of technical difficulty. Okay, March. Okay, not as impressive. In March of 2023, we made 2,500, but we're still on the up and up. We're still in the positive. We're doing good. We're still motivated. We're still excited. We're still learning that new time frame. Moving on. And of course, this one isn't working either. Looks like I got to do this to every single one. That's all right. April. Oh, there it is. There it is. It just takes a minute to load. Okay, good. All right, moving into March 2,500. Now we're going into April. We took another loss. We took another L. And also, I want you guys to understand that so these are entire months that have gone by to where I have done all of this trading. I have put in hours and hours and hours in front of the charts. And then at the end of the month, we have lost money. So I just need you guys to understand that is a very true reality when it comes to trading. Very natural, very normal. This was just a bit more, I'd say, exaggerated because we're working with a new time frame. So I just want you guys to see that very natural, very normal, though, to have put in. This is one career path where the amount of money you make does not equate to how much time you spend doing it. You could spend hours and hours and hours. And at the end of the month, guess what? There could be no money. There could be negative money. That is a very realistic possibility. But it is all about the consistency. What does the end of the year look like? So that's what we're getting into. So in April 2023, we lost 6,500. All right, can we make a comeback? In May, we did $20,000. We had a $20,000 profit in May. We're thinking, oh my gosh, okay. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect a $20,000 month. You could imagine like the excitement. All right, moving on. And June, we're down 7,800. Did we have a little ego maybe? Maybe we were going a little too hard, thinking we're a little too good, maybe getting a little cocky? I'm sure, probably. I'm sure. So this was another month where no matter how many hours you spent in front of the charts, there was still negative at the end. It was a red month. After the entire month of trading, we lost $7,800. Moving on to the next month. Oh, come on, load. Let's go. Give it a second. Another impressive month, though. July was $23,000. Okay, we've got August. Come on, July. Come on, load. We might have to skip over July. It's taking too long. Fine, we'll skip July. Okay, but here, this is the snowball effect. This is what I want you guys to see. So we had our first $20,000 month in May. Okay, we took a dip, maybe too cocky, a little too much ego. That's okay, it happens. Then we move on to the next month. Oh, there it is. Ha! Then we move on to July. Another $20,000 month, $23,000. Okay, we're feeling great. Let's go. Snowball effect. Can we keep it up? Yes. Another $20,000, another one. Another $20,000 month in August. I'm a Leo. There was a lot at stake here. Your birthday month, no exceptions. The goal is only above and beyond. I don't know if we got any Leos in the chat tonight, but you understand. Okay, we got a few. But this is the snowball effect. If we can just keep it up. So August of 2023, $22,000 P&L. And then September, we took one of our biggest losses, $16,000. This was a direct reflection of getting too egotistical, position sizing too high, too big, taking on way too much risk. This is where you have got to humble yourself. And it did. This worked. I woke up. I was like, okay, all right. And it happens. And this is where you've got to have just such self-awareness to know when you're getting too, egotistical, when you're getting too cocky in your trading, when you're thinking you're, on top of the world. You start taking on more risk. You're like, well, all I have to do is just double what I made last month. And I can just double the position size, but that also means double the risk. So this is where I want you guys to see, and I wish it would load, but it's not. There it is. Okay. $16,000 loss here. One of which was a singular $13,000 loss, took on way too much risk. And then you can see, okay, we had a little bit of profit. Then we had a $4,000 loss. So we took on, now not too many trades, which is nice to see, but way too much risk. So we ended September with negative 16,000. Did that discourage me? Did I stop after that? And I was like, listen, that was one of my biggest losing months. I got to stop there. Did we? Wow, the chat is silent. Or it could be my internet. Thank you, Mr. Hope. Thank you, Mr. Hope. No, we didn't. All right, making sure you're all awake. 2023. In October, we bounced right back. $29,000. $29,072. That's what I'm talking about. That is a direct reflection of never give up. Crazy bounce back. I am the comeback every time. So this is so exciting. October 2023, $29,000. November 2023, another $20,000 month. Let's go. She can replicate it. She can do it. 23,000.7 P&L. Now you'll wonder, also, why does this say, oh, I didn't do the dollar sign. You'll wonder why in December are there no trades? November, we hit 23,000. Why would I not place any trades in December? George, that's fair. Yes, Dennis, exactly. I hit $100,000 in profits. Now my total running balance was $112,000 right here, down here. $112,000 profit. I take that back. $112,000 balance. Because remember, I had $12,000 at the beginning. But this was the month that I hit $100,000. We did it. I didn't need to trade at all in December. I took all of December off and said, oh my gosh. This was the year I made $100,000. Now, we can keep going through broker statements, and there's many more. Every single one of these is the path to $500,000. I don't want to spend too much time tonight walking you guys through my entire journey from $5K to $500,000, but I'm ready to get into some charts, and I know you guys are too. But that year was the most exciting. It was also like the craziest year. So many high highs, so many low lows. 2023 for me was realizing the snowball effect, realizing what's possible if you don't quit. So this is what I really wanted to show you guys, and also just show you guys and showcase my credentials, show you guys what broker statements look like, give you guys some transparency here. So we'll go back over to the slides now, but incredible. Like, I go back and look at this and I am so proud of myself, so incredibly proud of myself for continuing, That first month that I took my account from 20,000 down to 12, most people give up. That's a huge loss to take on. So give me just one moment. We're going to move back 2 slides here. So very proud of myself. But I want you guys to see that, like, that starting balance, some of you guys can relate to. Some of you guys have $20,000 in a savings account that you can trade with in a very similar position. But I want you guys to know that there was a point where my trading account was at 5,000. Maybe some of you guys don't have the 20,000 yet. I started with $5,000 in a trading account. It is possible. But I wanted to show you guys just the 2023 year where I had 20,000. I put $20,000 worth of hard-earned cash into an account, into a trading account, and brought that down to 12. And it's very discouraging. Some people would quit then. And I am so glad I did not. Okay, let's get back into slides. It's going to be very purple. Just get ready. Here we go. And there it is. So we went through the broker statements. You guys saw it. Based on what you guys know about trading so far, how many traders do you think fail? Now, we did, if you guys were really paying attention, we already talked about it. It was already in one of our slides. What percentage of traders do you think fail? I need y'all to be hyper aware of this. I'm not going to try to promise some crazy dream. I want you guys to know that this is a difficult industry to make it in. So what percentage do you think fail when they come into trading? Correct. Someone said 100%. Well, incorrect, because I'm one here. And we've got Arslan, so that's technically 2. 90% of traders that get into this fail. I don't want to discourage you. I don't want you to think that, oh my God, how could I possibly be part of this 10%? I want you to use this as motivation. We're going to learn what the 90% do so that we don't do that. We're going to do the exact opposite and do whatever we need to do to bring us closer to the 10% of traders who actually make it. 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days. Now, one thing about this statistic that I want you guys to know is there is probably a significant amount of these traders that are also trading with no strategy. They don't have a system. They're just putting money in and thinking like, okay, if I just bet it all on this instrument or this stock or, you know, this currency pair, I might make astronomical amounts of money, massive amounts of money. And then they are quickly humbled. So how accurate these are, I'm not certain. But I do know that a majority of those people that come into trading, just because you guys understand that, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the stigma that comes around trading. If you were to tell someone that you are a trader or that you trade, what is the most common response that you get from people? Yes, Rachel, exactly what I was looking for. The most common response that you get when you tell someone you're a trader or the world's vision of trading is that they think that it's gambling, that you're a gambler. That's why this number is so high. But it's because most people do treat it as gambling. We're not doing that. So we're going to do whatever we need to do to get us closer to the 10%. We're not going to gamble. We're not going to bet it all, put it all on this position, put it all on this stock, thinking this is going to rocket to the moon. No. We are going to do whatever we can to do the opposite of what all of these guys do. Opposite of these 90% of people. We need a system. We need a strategy. We need something that helps us understand probabilities. This is what this is. This is what this is. This is what trading is. It's just a game of probabilities. We need a strategy. We need a system that we can replicate, that we can repeat and do it over and over and over again so that we can allow the probabilities to work in our favor. This is how we get closer to the 10%. So I need to reiterate, it's not the strategy. Most of you here starting know some sort of strategy. How many of you guys have watched a video, at least one singular video about some sort of system, some sort of strategy? Okay, Rachel has looked up ORB, VWAP. I'm sure there's some ICT. I'm sure there's some SMC. I'm sure there's some pyramids. I'm sure there's some Elliott waves. All of these things that I am saying are different types of strategies. But the issue here is not the strategy. Remember the analogy, the gym works. The issue is not the gym. The issue is us. The issue is consistency. The issue is discipline. So there is a reason why there is so much buildup tonight. There's so much buildup before we get into strategy. And it is because I need you guys to understand this first and foremost. I don't want to start with like, this is how you can make massive amounts of money. You can make $50,000 per trade, which is something that I'm able to do now. but it's because I've been doing this for 11 years. I don't want to just show you guys the lifestyle and the things and all the crazy trades and the crazy trips and get into strategy and show you guys how simple and amazing it is. I want you guys to be so prepared. I want to give you guys the advantage. I'm not gatekeeping here. So I want to give you guys some of the bad news, some of the statistics behind trading. I want to give you guys a little bit of a lowdown on what people do wrong before we get into the most exciting part, which is strategy. So there is a reason there is this buildup here. I need you guys to be in a position to where you can fully understand and you have complete context before we get into the strategy. So most of you here starting out know some sort of strategy. And I want to walk you guys through the information trap. This is another reason why 90% of traders fail. What do they do? What do they have in common? Remember we talked a little bit about Arslan where he was doing something called strategy hopping? And if you guys have looked up anything on trading online, how much information is there? If you Google how to trade, how many videos do you think you could watch? Yeah. Unlimited. Unlimited. Ooh, can she sing? Can she sing? There is an absolute unlimited amount of information. Now, this comes also with any industry. If you're looking at like drop shipping, if you're looking at infinite banking, if you're like, there's so many different strategies. There's so many different ways to make money, how to make money online. Massive amount of information, unlimited. It's a black hole. That hurts. That doesn't help you. The fact that there is too much information. This is an information trap. This is absolutely a trap. Oh, Khadija already knows. Analysis paralysis. Yes. More information does not mean better trading. Now, for those of you guys taking notes, I want you to write this one down very big. Go ahead and just take up the whole line. More information does not equal better trading. And also that's true as well. So Michael says there's a lot of scams. This is where you have to have that healthy skepticism. You got to do your research. If you are looking at a strategy, is there data behind it? Is there trades that have been backed? Has it been back tested? How many years? So this is where you have to understand, you've got to have that healthy skepticism. But even outside of that, I mean, you guys could understand that. And I'll give you guys this analogy for those that are like, there's so many fake gurus, fake traders. Yes, there are, but there's also so many strategies that do work too. I want you to understand this. So with the analogy that comes to the gym, there's going to be a few fitness influencers that have maybe had work done. And this is just a similar analogy. I won't spend too much time on this, but I want to make this connection here, where they will tell you that to get their body, they did this in the gym, this, and this. When in reality, they actually just got some work done and they're selling you a false dream. This is the same when it comes to the trading industry or any industry. There's going to be some people that don't actually do what they preach. Or there's going to be some people that did something different than what they're telling you. But then there's also people that have worked really hard in the gym and they do have the body that you want and that they have put in the work and they have shown you the transformation and they've maybe documented it so you can see. They have a clear meal prep. So this is where I want you guys to see the difference. There are people that go to the gym and have an incredible physique and have made the transformation. So there are traders as well, even though it's a very scammy, messy place. So is the fitness industry. I'm sure maybe not as bad. But there are traders who have done what they say, who do trade the strategy that they teach. So do have that healthy skepticism, do your research. But I want you guys to understand it's not the strategy that's the issue here. It's not the strategy. There is tons of information online. More information does not equal better trading. You can be profitable, but also still be trading poorly. So this is another concept that I want to walk you guys through. So remember, we're walking through what do the 90% do so that we can avoid it at all costs and go in the opposite direction. There is the possibility of being profitable, but not trading correctly. Has anyone ever had like beginner's luck before? Anybody had beginner's luck in the chat? Mark has. Okay. We got a few. And now this is an instance where you got into something. It could be anything. It could be trading. It could be, you go to the casino. Awful analogy or correlation here, but we'll stick with trading, where you have gotten into a trade and it worked out incredibly, but you don't really know how you did it. So like when you go to try to replicate it, You do the same thing that you did here, and now the result is not profitable trading. So you have done something incorrectly that made you money at one point, but will not be consistent, and you cannot replicate it and do it over and over again. That is absolutely something that happens in the industry. You place one trade, you do everything wrong, but somehow it works out. That is still a possibility. We don't want to do that. We're not looking for one trade to make us millions of dollars and then we never have to do it again. We are looking to trade again and again and again and again and allow probabilities to work in our favor and to trade for the long-term game. We're not looking to just place one trade that happens to be the one. If it does, amazing, cool, like way to go. But if you ever try to replicate that, the likelihood of you being able to do that is very slim. The real reason that traders fail is because they complicate the process. Remember, there is a plethora of information. Imagine if you guys are on the internet, which, to be honest, I'm probably speaking, when I go through this example, I'm probably speaking to every single one of you guys, or at least many of you guys, to where you're looking up how to trade. Typing it in, you see this video, this video, this video, this video, this video, this video, this video. You watch them all, and you're like, okay, cool. All right, so this person does this person does this person does this, and this. Now you have got so much information. When it comes to you actually trading, which one do you do? And how much time do you have to learn everything about this specific one? If it's too complicated, if there's too much involved, you're not going to be able to replicate it. You're not going to be able to believe that you can do it. And the likelihood of you being able to get the reps in a bunch of times with a complicated system or a complicated process is not very likely. If I took you guys to the gym and I had you do like a one-legged balance, Bulgarian split your very first day, you're probably not going to go back and do that yourself. You don't know how many, dude, I know. I know how to do Bulgarian splits. It's when you stand up and then you walk away and you don't do them. But if I took you guys to the gym and showed you some insane complicated process, the likelihood, and then me leaving, the likelihood of you being able to go back to the gym and replicate that over and over and over again, so slim. You got to start simple. So a lot of reason is because people complicate the process. Way too much involved. No accountability, no structure, and they go on tilt. How many of you guys know what tilt is? Okay. Most of you guys know. Okay, some of you guys don't. Okay, so going on tilt means that you make a really, really stupid decision. A very emotional, stupid decision. Either you go all in, or you are in a position and you're losing money and you just continue to let it go and let it go and let it go, let it go. You maybe place 100 trades in a day. Like, it's just doing something with a incredible downside, not good, that's emotionally done, emotionally activated. So this is just going on tilt, making a very stupid decision that results in a huge loss. So that is going on tilt. It's just very emotional. Now notice what's not on this list. It's not the wrong strategy. It's not bad markets either. So it's not like the market conditions. And it's not capital either. It's not how much money you have to trade with. We've already gone through very different journeys where, well, to be honest, we've only gone through two. We've gone through my journey, but we've also gone through my year. We've gone through a 2023 year where it started with 20K. I don't know if you guys were able to see when I pulled back up the broker statements, the very first one was $5,000. You guys were able to see $5,000. You guys were able to see Arslan. So it's not capital. Capital is not the issue. It's not the markets. And it's not the wrong strategy. People who are stuck have information. We already talked about there is a black hole of information online. They've watched the videos. They know the basics. What they're missing is a system. And the system that I use has one rule. Now, if you guys were watching my Instagram today, you probably know what that one rule is. What do you think that one rule is? Boom, Victoria, that's my girl. Let's go. She's paying attention. My one rule, if I just had to take my entire strategy, my entire 11 years of trading, and give it just one rule or 3 words, it is follow the price. Or if some of you guys are real OGs here, it's follow the king. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We got a few. Follow the king. Follow the king, follow the price. Yes. Follow the price. I will accept both answers. If you said king, correct. Now the markets do 3 things. Markets move up. Markets move down. Does anyone know the third thing or the third direction that markets move in? Boom, Mike, already on it. Sideways. Markets move sideways as well. Now, with this being said, I'm able to capitalize when the markets move up and when the markets move down. When the markets move sideways, I do not excel. I excel when the markets are trending. I don't know if you guys know, but my strategy is a trend line trading strategy. Trend line trading, TLT. It's a trend line trading strategy. I excel, I make the most amount of money when the markets are trending up, or moving down, trending down. When the markets are moving sideways, I do not. I get chopped. I get smacked back and forth. This is where the sooner that you can identify sideways movement or sideways markets, the better. But I excel, or this strategy excels, when the markets move up and the markets move down. Now, also, and I know we're getting close on time, and I'm gonna make sure that we go through all strategy. So I'm not gonna, if we have to go over, we have to go over, and that's fine. But I want you guys to understand that my strategy specifically, there are many strategies available. There are probably thousands of different types of strategies, and each strategy excels during different conditions. They excel in different instruments and different time frames. I want you guys to understand that my strategy excels when the markets move up and the markets move down. When we're trending up or trending down. There's some strategies that excel when the markets are only moving sideways. So this is where I want you guys to understand that there are tons of different strategies. The one that you guys are going to learn tonight, it excels when price is moving down or up or down, trending up, trending down, bullish or bearish. So that's what I want you guys to understand. Simplicity is the competitive advantage. The more simple a workout is, the likelier you are to go back to the gym and do it yourself again and again and again. Same with trading. The more simple the strategy is, the more likely you are able to go into the markets and repeat that system over and over and over again. Yes, and everyone's saying KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. 1,000% is the motto here. Now, how did Arslan go from zero knowledge to a $20,000 payout in 6 months? He didn't have to use 10 strategies. Now, he probably learned 10. He didn't have to use 10 strategies. He mastered one. Now, for everyone that is taking notes, I want you guys to go back to what Arslan attributed his success to. And if you guys have time, type it in the chat. This is full circle moment here. Full circle. We're bringing it all the way back around. It wasn't because of 10 different strategies or 10 different entries. It was group trading. What else? One strategy and consistency. He also said in discipline. So I want you guys to understand that is the reason he was able to hit his success that he had. It wasn't 10 strategies. There's so much information out there. It's mastering one. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get into the strategy. Now, for some of you guys that have something called TradingView, if you do, go ahead and pull it up and we'll do this together. If you don't have TradingView, go ahead and follow along here. And then after tonight's webinar, try to replicate this on your own. Try to get the practice in and see if you can do this on your own. I'm going to show you guys a simple workout. I'm taking y'all to the gym. Let's go. Here we go. I'm your gym buddy. I'm your accountability partner. I'm going to show you guys a workout. And I want you to go back to the gym on your own and do this workout again and again and again. So let's do it. Here we go. I'm going to stop sharing. For everyone that is not doing Ramadan, go ahead and just take some water. Make sure you guys are good. Stand up if you need to. We're going to get into the charts. We're going to get into the strategy here. I'm getting low on my water. Okay, let's do it. We're getting into the good stuff. Here comes strategy. All right, give me just a moment. All right, broker statements, minimize, don't need them. Okay. All right. And let me know when you guys can see the charts. Can you guys see Trading view here. All right, sweet. Okay, let's get into it. So I want to give you guys a little bit of context on the pie. Now we're not going to go too beginner. I'm not going to walk you guys through like what a forex pair is and what it means to trade the US dollar versus the yen and stuff like that. I want you guys to be able to go to the gym and just replicate this workout. So I'm going to keep it as simple as possible so that you can just continue to do this on your own. So you can keep repeating, get the reps in. So I want to give you guys just a quick context, a quick little overview, quick little, not necessarily disclaimer, but just overview. When it comes to this strategy that I'm going to teach you guys, my strategy, I want you to understand that there are a bunch of different pies. So remember we talked about, or cakes, pies, whatever you want to call it. There are different, we'll go with pies. It's the easiest way. It's clicking with me. It's sticking with me. There's a bunch of different pies. But remember we talked about the way to slice it is all personal preference. But we've got multiple pies here. We've got a pie called the stock market. We've got a pie called the forex market. We've got a pie called the futures market. And we got a pie called the crypto market. All different pies. You can still slice it exactly the same and it's still a pie. So this strategy that I'm going to teach you guys can be applied to any one of the pies. As long as there is a pie, aka as long as there is price movement in a chart, you can apply this strategy. So same for like if you guys were to go to the gym. As long as you have a gym and a squat rack, you can do exactly what I'm going to show you. It could be any gym, anywhere in the world, any squat rack. As long as they have this, you can implement the workout. This is the same for my strategy, same for my system. I know, Jack, I'm hitting this one hard. I'm sorry. But so the system that I'm going to teach you guys can be applied to any pie, aka any market, and any time frame. You can slice it any way you want. So this is the coolest part about this pie. It's very universal. It applies to all markets, all instruments, all time frames. Now, where does the system come into play? So I want you guys to pull up a chart, preferably the same chart so that we can do this together. But then when you go on your own, you can pick any chart you want. You can go to any gym and replicate this. But now I want to give you guys a system or a structure. And this is called top-down analysis. So for those of you guys that are taking notes, write down top-down analysis. This is where it all starts. This is where the system starts, and you can pull up any instrument. You can pull up Bitcoin after tonight. I want you guys to do this with me together, and then you guys can do it on your own with any instrument. So you could pull up platinum, Roku, which is what we're getting into, Tesla, Apple, Bitcoin, corn, USD JPY, the US dollar versus the yen. You can pull up any chart. But what we're going to do, these steps in this system is all going to be the same. It is very uniform and universal. So top-down analysis is what we're going to learn. What is top-down analysis? That means you're going to look at the pie. So up here is just the different ways to slice the pie. These are called time frames. And these are all the different time frames that we're going to be going over. We've got a monthly time frame, a weekly time frame, a daily time frame, a 4-hour time frame, and a 1-hour time frame. Think of each one of these as just how slim you are slicing the pie. This right here is the pie, the chart. And I may be hitting this pie thing way too hard. I don't know why, but I'm feeling drawn to it. This analogy is speaking to me. But I feel like, and we maybe didn't have too many beginners, so maybe I don't have to keep going with the pie analogy. Maybe most of you guys understand an instrument and a chart, and we can just use regular words here. As long as you have price movement on a chart, you can apply the strategy. Now, where do we start, though? There has to be a system that we can repeat and a step-by-step procedure every time we look at a new chart or a new instrument. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with the monthly time frame, which is just the whole pie as a whole. I want to see all of the chart, the whole movement, the whole pie, nothing but the pie. We're looking at all of Roku. Now, what does it look like to do a top-down analysis? This is where we will start to mark up our trend lines. So if you guys know this is a trend line trading strategy, we're going to start marking up our trend lines on a monthly time frame at the top. So this is where top-down analysis comes into play. You start at the top, and then we're going to work our way down. So we're going to be drawing trend lines on our chart, each instrument, from the top, and then working our way down. But now, what is the structure and what is the system behind it? The system and the structure, so I'll give you guys the lowdown first before we actually draw them together. Each trend line has to connect to one another. So we can't have any rogue trend lines, no random trend lines. Every single trend line is going to connect to one another. So when the trend lines we draw on the monthly time frame are going to connect to the trend lines that we draw on the weekly time frame, and they're going to connect to the trend lines that we draw on the daily time frame. Every trend line is going to connect to one another. What other guidelines do we have to abide by when we're doing this step-by-step system here? One of the rules that we have to abide by when drawing all these trend lines, one rule, they all have to connect. So if you guys are taking notes, rule number 1 for our trend lines, every trend line has to connect. Rule number 2, price cannot intersect with the trend line. What does that mean? I want to show you guys what not to do. What does it mean? When drawing a trend line, price cannot have poked through. It cannot have intersected. In this example, we have a point A, a point B. Price poked through. This is incorrect. Price cannot have poked through in our trend lines. So these are the 2 guidelines that we need to abide by when doing our top-down analysis. All trend lines have to connect, and price cannot have intersected. Now we're going to do that over and over and over and over again. So we're going to work our way down, Stephanie. So we're at the monthly time frame first. So now what does a correct trend line look like from the top, working our way down? From the top on the monthly time frame, a correct trend line looks like this. We're going to use the ray tool to the left. If you go here, it says ray. I always like to star it, so it's always there. The ray tool. When drawing our first trend line, we're going to start now. When we're drawing our first upward trend line, we're going to start with the lowest point we see on the screen. Lowest possible point we see on the screen, which is right here. That's going to be our point A, our pivot point. Where does our point B go? Our point B has to go on the next lowest point we see on the screen, but price cannot have intersected. If we use this one right here, is this correct or incorrect? Where we have this line. Boom, mark, got it. Incorrect, it's wrong. So we can't use this low. What's the next low that we could use without price intersecting? Let's find the next low that I can use. Boom, here we go. This is the next low that I can use, and price has not intersected. It hasn't crossed through. Amazing. Now we need a downward trend line. We've got an upward. Also, I like to color code my trend lines. So I'm going to go to this toolbox up here. I like making my upward trend lines green and my downward trend lines red. I just like to differentiate the 2. Now let's draw a downward trend line. It's going to be same, but different, opposite here. Instead of looking for the lowest point we see on the screen, we're going to look for the highest point we see on the screen. Highest point we see on the screen here. Boom. And now where do we put our point B? Point A is the pivot point. Point B here, where do we put it? Is it going to be this low? No. Is it going to be this low? No. It's going to be this low right here because price has not intersected. I'm going to make it red. Now, once we have drawn our trend lines on the monthly time frame, we're going to move down. We started at the top. Now we're going to move down. Top-down analysis. You guys following? So started at the monthly. That's the top. Now we're going to work our way down. Question for Mark. We are going to include wicks. But since this is beginner, one thing that I want to preface with you guys too is any information that I don't share with you guys tonight is because it's not needed. So if I take you guys to the gym and I am showing you how to use a machine, and I'm not going to show you how to clean the machine or how to use a different machine. I just want to show you guys the movement. I'm going to show you the movement. I'm not going to show you how it works because you don't need to know. You need to just be able to go to the gym and do your workout on this machine. So same with this strategy. I'm going to show you guys how to use the strategy. If there's anything I don't mention, it's because you don't need to know it to replicate this. So we are on the monthly time frame. We've drawn our first upward trend line and our first downward trend line. Amazing. Now let's work our way down. We're doing top-down analysis. So we've started the monthly. Let's go down to the weekly. Now on the weekly time frame, we need to do the same thing here. So now remember our 2 rules though. So this is where it's going to feel, maybe it won't feel too fast. All of our trend lines have to connect to one another. And as you move down time frames, you're starting to get more and more and more precise. So the monthly time frame is like the whole pie. And then we go to the weekly. We've just simply cut it in half. Then slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, smaller and smaller slices. As we move to these lower time frames, we start to get more and more and more precise. as you move down to each time frame, you'll also notice that your lines will be a little bit off, a little bit wonky. It's because we're coming in with a magnifying glass, so we're just seeing it from a less broad perspective. So there are going to be times where when you do your top-down analysis and you move from time frame to time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, that you'll have to make some slight adjustments. So in this scenario, price has poked through ever so slightly. It's not the end of the world, but we can just make that slight adjustment here. Boom. Now we have incorporated it. Now, when we come in and draw our next trend line, it has to connect to this very trend line here. When drawing our next trend line, for those of you guys that are taking notes, you can write this one down as well. When drawing new trend lines, your previous touch point will be your new point A. Previous touch point is new point A. So that means the previous, most recent touch point on that last line we drew is going to be where we start the new touch point. Previous touch point or previous point B is new point A. So this is where we start the new trend line. We're going to incorporate the same rules here. Where do we put our point B? We've already followed the first rule. The line connects. Now we need to follow the second rule. Price cannot intersect. So if we put it here, it intersects ever so slightly. So we need to move here. Boom. Now we have our second trend line. I'm going to change the color of this one back to green. Boom, there we go. We have just drawn our second trend line. Congratulations, guys. Let's go. We're picking up the momentum. Here we go. Now we need to come in with one more trend line. Let's come in with one more trend line here. So what we're doing essentially is we are tracking price. We are tracking all the movement of the price with our trend lines and coming in more, that's what I'm looking for. When we're coming into the lower time frames, we're getting more and more precise. So we're just getting more and more precise with how we track the price. We just want to see all of its movement and track as much as we can. Thank you, Robert. Granular is a perfect word. So we just want to track all of the movement of the price with our trend lines as much as we can. So in this time frame, weekly, top down, top monthly, working our way down. We've went from the monthly, now we're at the weekly. Before we move down and continue down, we're going to draw one more upward trend line. We want to capitalize on all of the movement of the price. So we're going to come in with another trend line, and we're going to follow our two rules here. Every trend line has to connect. The previous touch point is the new point A. Boom, here we go. And now where do I draw this line so that price doesn't intersect? Do I use this low? No. Do I use this low? No, no, boom. I'm using this low here. We have just drawn our third trend line together. Amazing, good job, guys. You're doing great. I promise we're going to get into the entry criteria and exit criteria in just a moment. But how do we know when to get in? Like, how do we get into a trade? How do we get out of a trade? What tells us when to get in? As we are doing this top-down analysis, and the reason we have these rules is exactly why I'm walking you guys through this top-down analysis. It's going to be exactly how we get into our trades and how we get out. So there is a reason we have these guidelines and these rules here. And there's a reason why we do this top-down analysis. So we've done the monthly. We've done the weekly. Let's move into the daily time frame. We're going to continue to work our way down. Monthly, weekly, now let's go to the daily. Remember, as you go down to lower time frames, we're getting a little bit more precise. So we need to slightly modify our lines, just ever so slightly. This one looks a little bit off. There we go. Boom. Now, price is significantly far away from both of these two lines, so that's our indication that we can come in with more lines. Let's just keep going. We're in the daily time frame. Let's come in with some more lines. For the upward trend line, we're going to follow the same system, the same rules that we have been talking about. When we're drawing a steeper trend line or a new trend line, the new point A is the most recent touch point or the previous touch point. New point A, previous point B. They have to connect. When we're drawing our point B, price can't intersect, so it's going to go to this low right here. Amazing. We've done it. Now for our downward trend line, same concept. Previous point B or previous touch point is our new point A. Boom. Can the line go here? No, price has crossed through. We're going to put the line right here. Now price hasn't intersected, it hasn't crossed through. We're still following our guidelines. And now we can go, this is as far as we can go on the daily time frame. So we're going to continue to go down. Jimmy, we're going to draw another upward trend line when we move down a time frame. When we go to the 4-hour time frame. Now, could you draw one here? Yes. It's not going to be the end of the world if you drew a steeper trend line right now on the daily, just know that when you go into the 4-hour time frame, it'll probably be slightly off because we're getting a little bit more precise and we can't as clearly see a point A and a point B. So we want to come into a lower time frame to be able to get a clearer view of this pullback. And that may have convinced or complicated things. If it did, don't worry. We're going to continue to do our top-down analysis and we're following all our rules. Just know that it's okay if you draw extra lines on higher time frames. Just know that when you move down to the lower time frames, you'll just have to adjust them. You're just getting a little bit more precise. So now we're in the daily. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. Now we can just see a little bit more data. We can see a little bit more information. We can see this pullback or this new low a little bit clearer. So now we're going to come in with a steeper upward trend line. Boom. Previous point B is new point A. And where do we put our point B? As long as price has intersected, we're drawing our line right here. I'm going to make it green. All right, now let's move to a 1-hour time frame. We've done as much as we can on the 4-hour. That's as far as we can go. That's as much price action as we have. Blah, 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 blah. Well, we're glitching. We're glitching. It's as much price action as we've got to work with here on the 4-hour time frame. Now we're going to go to the 1-hour. Anna, I already answered that question. Now, 1-hour time frame. We got to make some slight adjustments here because price poked through ever so slightly. 1-hour time frame. We can come in with just yet one more steeper upward trend line. So we're going to do that. The downward trend lines, we don't have anything else to work with. So the downward trend line, that most recent one we drew, is as far as we can go.
What did I just say?
Previous point B, new point A. Boom, boom. Price hasn't intersected. Now, let's say that the 1-hour time frame is your preferred way to slice the pie. You like the 1-hour time frame. Could you continue your top-down analysis by going from the 1-hour to the 30-minute to the 15-minute to the 5-minute? Yes, you could. That is all your preference. If you prefer trading the 5-minute time frame, you'll continue to do all these steps that we just did, and you'll work your way all the way down to the 5-minute time frame. Some of you guys will enjoy, or your preference will be the 1-hour time frame. So this is where you will stay. You will stop your top-down analysis at your preferred time frame. So we started at the monthly. Maybe some of you guys are daily traders. Maybe some of you guys are holding your trades for months. So you are getting into your positions, or your preferred time frame to trade is the daily. You'll do monthly, weekly, stop at daily. If your preferred time frame or your preferred slice of the pie is the 1-hour, you'll do monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, 1-hour. So it's all the same. Adon, I don't have enough time to go through every different time frame, so I'm going to stop here at the 1-hour. But this is where I'm just showing you guys the workout. I want you guys to be able to go to the gym, do this workout yourself again and again and again. Get the reps in. So this is exactly what you're going to do. You start from the top down. This is top-down analysis, and make sure that you follow those guidelines that I gave you guys. Every trend line has to connect, and price cannot intersect. And you will continue to track price steeper and steeper and steeper, all of the movement of the price with our trend lines here. This is what a top-down analysis is. But now what? Now let's get into the actual, when do I get in? When do I get out? How do I know when to get into a position, and how do I know when to get out? One of the coolest parts about this strategy is that we do not have to predict or guess. Do you remember the one rule that I gave my strategy? The one rule that I said my entire strategy in a nutshell in 3 words? Boom, Fernando. Follow the price. So we're not guessing when to get in. We're not going to try to predict where the price is going to go. We're just going to follow the price as it moves. Now, once we've done our top-down analysis, this is where we wait for price to tell us exactly when to get in. So I'm going to walk you guys through a few scenarios and through a few examples of what the price of Roku could do. We're not going to try to predict or guess. Just pretend as though the price of Roku does these examples so that I can show you guys when to get in, what position to take, when to get out, how long to hold your trade. There's so many decisions that come into trading. It's so easy to complicate the process. When you just allow price to tell you when to get in and when to get out, there is zero prediction involved. All the decision making, I don't know if any of you guys have ever experienced girlfriend brain. This strategy is perfect for the girlfriend brain because the decisions have just been narrowed down to where the price is going to tell you exactly when to get in. The price is going to tell you what position to get into as well, either an upward position or a downward position. If some of you guys are very beginner, if some of you guys are pretty experienced, a long position or a short position, you're essentially thinking that the price is going to go up or down. It's going to tell you which position to take, but how? This is where I get hyped. I get so excited, and I'm sorry that I keep doing this. It's a thing that I've learned that's new, and it just means like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now, how do we know when to get into a position? Let's say the price of Roku moves down. This is also why we have our rules and the guidelines that we follow when doing our top-down analysis. There is a specific reason why we have these rules, is because we allow price to tell us when to get into a position. So why would we make sure the price doesn't intersect? Because we want price to intersect. We want it to do it on its own so that we know what direction to take or what position to take. So as long as we make sure that we do our top-down analysis and price hasn't intersected and they all connect to one another, that means that your system is correct. That means that the steps that you have followed is correct. And now we're just waiting. We're waiting for the price to now break out of one of these two lines. We want it to intersect now, after we've already done our top-down analysis. So I'm going to walk you guys through some examples here. And then are you guys good to hang on for a little bit later? I know we've already gone an hour and a half. Are you guys good to hang on for a little bit later? Okay. We got an F. Yeah, let's go. Okay, run it. Let's go. We're doing it. My team is hating me right now. I'm sorry, team. Eventually we'll make these shorter, but I'm just not good at it. Okay. All right. So let me just go through, and also you guys can tell I just get really excited about this part. Like the momentum that we have built up. We have just developed the perfect mindset to be able to implement this strategy now. I have given you guys everything you need, all of the tools, the mindset, everything, and now we get into it. It's just my favorite part. I get so excited. Okay, so let's go over some scenarios. You guys know how to do a top-down analysis. We'll also do another example, so not to fret. If you felt lost and you're like, I didn't quite get it, it's all right. I'm going to show you the workout one more time. Just to really solidify it. Okay, but let's get into entries and exits. How do we know when to get in, and how do we know when to get out? As long as you have done your top-down analysis correctly, the price is going to tell you exactly when and where, and for how long to stay in. You can embrace girlfriend braid to the absolute maximum. I know some of y'all guys cannot relate to that, but the decision-making process is narrowed down, essentially, in man terms. Okay, so I'm going to do just a few scenarios, and I'm going to mark up my chart with like these little arrows, and we're going to pretend like that is the movement of the price. So if Roku does X, Y, and Z, some scenarios I'm going to go over, this is how we implement the strategy. This is what position we would take. This is how long we would stay in, and this is when we would get out. So give me just a moment. Going back here. If the price of Roku continues down, does something like this. The price has now intersected our lines. For everyone that is taking notes, I need you guys to write down 2 terms. When we were doing our top-down analysis, all we had was just upward trend lines and downward trend lines. We have green trend lines, we have red trend lines, we have bullish trend lines, and we have bearish trend lines. Now that price is intersected, this line actually has a name now. Now there is a term that we're going to call this. We're going to give this a title. Michael's already one step ahead. Once price crosses the line, we now give it a name. This is called an action line. So for those of you guys taking notes, write down action line. Write down action line equals the line that got crossed. Or however you want it, you can do some spark notes. You can make it your own. When price crosses your line, the line the price intersects, whatever it is. The line that gets broken is the action line. What does action line mean? Action line means it is time to take action. Quite literally, it means it's time to get into a trade. Act now. So now it is time to get into a trade. Price has broke a line. It's time to take action. The line that got broken is the action line. That is telling us to take action to get into a trade. So the coolest part is we don't have to guess when price is going to break the line. We don't know when price is going to break the line. But as soon as it does, it's time to take action. We know it's time to get into a position. But now how do we know if we want to get into a long position or a short position? How do we know if we want to get into a buy, if we want to place a buy order or a sell order? How do we know which one? It depends on which line got broken. So this upward trend line got broken. That's telling us that the price is no longer trending up. It's no longer following along this beautiful upward green line. The price broke it. So that means that we are going to place a sell order. We are going to go short. We're anticipating that the price is going to move lower. So we have I'm sorry, I almost gave the whole sauce away there. So we went over our one term, our action line. Take action, time to get into a trade. The upward trend line that gets broken means that we are taking sell orders. We are going short. But what do we do with the other line? The other line means something. So we've got an upward line that got broken. It now has a name. Now it's an action line. But we need something called a safety line. You guys already know. Listen, you guys already know. Safety line, yes. Okay, thank you. You guys are already on it. The safety line is the line that is truly going to keep us safe. These are very literal terms that I gave these lines here. So we've got action line, time to take action, time to get into a trade. The opposing trend line, the opposite line of the one that got crossed, is now the safety line. That line keeps us safe. For those of you guys that know the trading terms, this is the safety line, aka equals stop loss. Safety line equals risk. This is the line that's going to keep us safe, and it's going to allow us to stay in the trade. Yes, George, exactly. So now, for those of you guys taking notes, we're going to write down a new term, safety line. Safety line equals, if you're a beginner, write risk. And if you're fairly experienced, write down safety line equals stop loss. They're just one and the same. It's just a type of order. So opposing trend line is the safety line. I know, dude, Dennis is saying I love the language. It's just, I need very literal terms. And the more literal these terms are, the easier it is for me to replicate and do this again and again. So I'm showing you the most basic workout at the gym that you can go back and do yourself. So we've got two terms that we should have written down. Action line, safety line. Action line is the line that gets crossed. Safety line is the opposing trend line that is going to keep us safe. That is our risk. That is our stop loss. How long? Now we're moving on to the next step here. How long do we stay in this trade for? How do we know how long to hold it? Well, guess what? The decision making, we don't have to make ourselves. We're going to allow the price to tell us how long to stay in this trade. Ooh, Dennis, we got an OG over here. Don't know, don't care. How long do we stay in this trade for? We stay in this trade as long as the price respects our safety line. As soon as the price violates the safety line, we are no longer safe. We are in unsafe territory. We are in risky territory. So as long as the price, and I'll show you guys some examples here, as long as the price respects the safety line, we're staying in. So I'm going to go through some examples here. So first, I want us to see that we got into a trade. Price broke. It's time to take action. I'm going to put a little emoji here that says we're placing an order right here. We are taking a sell position. The price broke. We're taking a sell position. We're in. But now how long do we stay in for? How do we know when to close this trade? What if the price moves against us and we're losing money? Oh my God, we're losing money. Oh, okay, we're back to break even. Oh my God, we're losing money again. Do I close because I'm losing money right now? No. Until the price violates, breaks through the safety line, you are staying in your trade. You don't have to make any decisions. You don't have to guess. You are going to allow the price to tell you when to close that trade. This is bringing it full circle to where this entire system is truly just us following the price. So let's say price does something like this. It's moving down. As long as the price respects this safety line, we're making money. We're still in our trade. Even if it does something similar to this, we are staying in that trade. And at this point, we are now making money. We're up. We're profitable. As soon as price violates this line, it's time to close our position. This is when you are done. Your trade is over. Your trade is closed. I'm pulling up my emoji here. Now to close a short position, if you didn't know, you have to place a buy order. You placed a sell order first. Now you have to place a buy order. Now, TradingView makes it very easy to where you can just hit the X and your trade is closed. How long do we stay in for? Did we know that the price of Roku was going to do all this and then finally break over here on, Monday, March 26th or 23rd? No, we had no idea. We allowed the price to tell us when to get out. Now, I want to go through a few other examples and a few other scenarios. So this is when we get in, we've got an action line, and this is when we get out, when price violates the safety line, the opposing line. For some of you that are confused, it's all right. We're going to go through another example here, and that's okay. I understand that this is probably the first time you were hearing this concept, and I'm throwing some maybe terminology at you that you've never heard before. Maybe you've never used, dumbbells before, and I'm showing you guys all the different weights, and maybe they're in kilograms, and you're not used to that. This strategy will be simple enough that even if you don't know the correct terms, that you will be able to replicate this on your own. After tonight's masterclass, this is my main goal. Now, let's go through just a few other examples. Let's say that Roku doesn't do something like that. Let's say that Roku comes up like this. Price has just intersected a line. What is this line now called? Let's say, and let me move my mouse, sorry. Okay, let's say something like this happens. The price of Roku moved up and it broke our downward trend line. Our downward trend line now has a name. It's an action line, which means it is now time for us to take action to get into a trade. Now, instead of taking a short position or placing a sell order, our downward trend line was crossed. So this is an indication that price is no longer trending down. It just broke through it. Now we are thinking of placing a buy order or a long position. I'm going to go ahead and throw my emoji on here. Boom. Up. We have placed a buy order. We now have an action line. It told us to take action and to get into a trade. What is the opposing trend line? We've got an action. That's the downward trend line that got crossed. Which one is the safety line? We need a safety line. Correct. It's the green. Thank you. Yes. I may have asked you that wrong. The green line, the upward green line, is going to keep us safe. As long as the price of Roku continues higher and higher and respects the opposing trend line, the safety line, we're going to stay in that trade. We don't know when it's going to violate it, when it's going to break it, but we do know as long as it respects it and follows along it, we're staying in. So let's say that Roku does something like this. Comes up, it pulls down a little bit, it goes up. This thing is moving higher and higher and higher. We're feeling good. Let's say the price of Roku does something like this. As long as it respects our safety line, we're staying in that trade. Got in here, and we're still in if price is here. Now, what if the price doesn't continue to respect it all the way up to this $110? If the price breaks it down here, let's say the price of Roku broke it right here. What is that our indication to do? The price just violated our safety line, the line that was supposed to keep us safe. Yes, get out, exactly. That is now our indication to close our trade. Did we know the price of Roku was going to break this upward trend line on March 10th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m.? No, we didn't. This is the coolest part where we're not trying to predict or guess. We didn't know when the price was going to break through this. We just stayed in our position until price broke and we got out. Now, one thing, and I can't go too in depth. Like we're learning the workout. I can't go through nutrition or, showing you guys why we're using this specific, muscle group. But I'm going to show you guys the workout, and you're going to be able to replicate this after tonight's masterclass. So I won't go into too much of the nitty gritty here. So we've got action line, we've got safety line. Now, what I do want to show you guys is how do you continue to trade? So let's say that you get into a trade and you get out right here. You get in and you get out. You're going to need to do something to your lines. We're going back to emojis. You got in because price broke a downward trend line. That was a long position or a buy order. Now to close your position, you're going to place a sell order. Now let's say that you're done. Your trade is closed. It's over. Now what do we do with our lines? We're going to go through the same exact rules here. The same rules that we went through before. This downward trend line is now intersecting. I need to either delete it or move it. Prices are already intersected. We need to make sure that we're still following a rule. So when you're not in a trade, you go back to your top-down analysis rules. Every trend line has to connect and price can't have intersected. This is where we will delete this line. And let's say that the price of Roku made this new high. I'm going to go back. I got to zoom out a little bit because I can't find my point B. Oh, there it is. There it is. So this was accurate at one point, but now that the price of Roku is intersected, we have to take this line and move it to this new high. We're going to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So trade is closed. You're not in a position. You go back to your top-down analysis rules. Wait for price to break a trend line. It's now an action line. How long do you stay in? Until it violates the safety line. This is the meat of the strategy. You continue to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Now I want to show you guys the top-down analysis again on something called Bitcoin. I'm sure you've heard of it. And then I want to go through just a few more trade examples here. After this, you guys will have a pretty clear understanding of, okay, I know what top-down analysis is. I know that all my trend lines have to connect and they can't intersect. And I know how to move from the top down, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and continue on if you prefer. And then I know when to get into a trade and when to get out of a trade. So we're going to go over to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, we're going to go to the monthly time frame. We're starting from scratch again. So let's say, for example, now you're on your own. So you've done the masterclass. This is, you've taken in all the information, but now you're ready to do it on your own. So you're going to pick a chart. You're going to go home. You're already home. You're going to pull up a chart, any chart, pick a card, any card. And you're going to implement the same concepts that I taught you guys. Top down. So we're starting at the monthly. We're going to draw our first upward trend line. We're going to use the ray tool here. Upward trend line. To start, we're going to use the lowest point we see on the screen. Lowest point we see on the screen is, all of this price action over here. But if I draw a trend line, way over here to the left, it's not a trend line. So here's also another, for those of you guys taking notes, just write a little side note or like a tip. We'll write tip. Trend line tip here. If your trend line is horizontal, 0 degrees, it's not a trend line. So the trend line has to have some degree of an angle here. So this specific line, if you were following the steps here, which is lowest point you see on the screen without price intersecting, this is an example of a horizontal line. There is no degree. It's not a trend line. So this is just a tip to move on to the next lowest point you see on the screen that does provide any sort of incline, any sort of upward trend, any sort of degree. So we're drawing our trend line here. Now I'm going to use this point over here to the left because now I'm using this low. I can incorporate a new low that actually gives it some sort of degree, some sort of angle upward. We've got point A, point B. Let's continue. We're going to draw a second trend line. Previous point B is new point A. Boom. Point A, point B. Now we're going to zoom in I'm going to use the plus feature so that I can just see a little bit clearer. Same thing. Now we're going to continue until we just don't have much more price action to work with. So that's kind of your indication that you can move down to the next time frame. When you've drawn as many lines as you can, that's your indication to start continuing down. Top down analysis, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hours. So we're in the monthly now. We still have more pullbacks and more price action to work with, so we can draw another trend line. Previous point B, new point A, boom, boom. Now for a downward trend line, we don't have a point B. So this is where this is our kind of indication that we can move to the lower time frame. Monthly, now we're going to the weekly. This is slightly off. Let me just adjust a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we can't draw any downward trend lines yet on the monthly time frame. When we move to the weekly, we might be able to see a little bit more information. We're just coming in with a like a magnifying glass. We're getting a little bit more precise so we can just see more price action here. All right, weekly time frame. Okay. Weekly time frame, we can see a clear area or a clear place to draw a downward trend line. But as you can see here to the left, the price is poked through ever so slightly. Remember, that's going to happen when you move from the top down. When you do a top down analysis, you're starting from a very broad perspective and you're coming in just more and more precise. So we're going to need to slightly adjust this trend line to make sure the price hasn't poked through. And when you do that, it has now moved price away from where we originally had it. We need to come in with another trend line. Previous point B, new point A. Price hasn't intersected yet. We followed all of our rules. So regardless of what what I'm adding or what I'm deleting or when I'm moving time frames, as long as you follow these rules as you do your top-down analysis, you're going to be fine. If I mention something that's maybe a little bit confusing, or if I just moved a line, you're like, well, you had it drawn that way on the monthly time frame, you're going to be fine. As long as you follow those guidelines and those steps, making sure every trend line connects and price doesn't intersect, regardless of when you draw a trend line, if it's on the monthly and then you draw, another one on the weekly, as you continue to move down lower and lower time frames, you're going to be fine as long as you follow the rules. Now we can draw our first downward trend line. Our first downward trend line, remember, we use the highest point we see on the screen since this is a downward trend line, point A, pivot point, and then point B is going to be a lower high, a pullback here, a lower high, but where price has not yet intersected. I'm also going to make this red. Boom, there we go. This is as many lines as we can draw on the weekly time frame. Now this is our indication that we can continue to move down. We're going to a daily time frame. All right, previous point B, new point A. Boom, boom. And we can come in with a steeper upward trend line. Remember, the reason we're doing this is just to capitalize on as much price movement as possible. We're just trying to find all of the trends here, all of the price movements, and we're tracking it with trend lines. All right, that's the daily time frame. That's as far as we can go on the daily time frame. Let's continue down. We're going to the 4-hour time frame. Moderators, if we can keep an eye out for the chat, please, that'd be great. All right, and here we go. Now we're in the 4-hour time frame. Same rules, same concept, same structure here. Previous point B, new point A. We're going to draw our downward trend line here. Price has not yet intersected. We're going to make this red. And now we're going to go down to the 1-hour time frame. This is going to be, let's say that this is your designated time frame. This is your preferred way to slice the pie. This is where you trade. You trade in the 1-hour time frame. If you trade any lower, if you guys are familiar with, your designated time frame, or you already know which one works for you, you'll continue to move down until you make it to your designated time frame. Then that's where you stop. That's where you do all of your trade management. That's where you find your action line, you find your safety line in your designated time frame. Now, as we are getting more precise, you can see that trend line that I drew that looked pretty perfect on the 4-hour now looks a little bit wonky, looks a little bit off in the 1-hour. So you just need to make some slight adjustments here. There we go. And now I'm going to come in with a steeper downward trend line here. Previous touch point. I'd say we can't go any steeper. If we want to incorporate this new low, price intersected back here. So this is where we've got to just continue to make sure we're following the rules. Price hasn't intersected. There we go. Previous point B, new point A, and we've made it down to real-time price action. Okay. We've got all of our downward steep trend lines. We have tracked price as much as we possibly can with all of our downward trend lines. We can come in with a steeper upward trend line. We're going to come in with a steeper upward trend line here. Previous point B is new point A, so this is our pivot point back here. And as long as price hasn't intersected, we've got an accurate upward trend line. We're going to make this green. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay, now I want you guys to see this example yet again. Okay, now I'm using something called a replay tool in TradingView. This means we can go back and replay what the price has done. Now I'm going to preface this. Yes, I have cherry-picked a trade. This is a scenario where the price ended up playing out beautifully. Since I don't have very much time with you guys, I cannot go over too many different scenarios. I want you guys to see a scenario that works out beautifully. I will be going over a few scenarios that do not work out as beautifully. And we already understand, as I walked you guys through my broker statements, there are going to be losing months. In addition to that, that means there are also going to be losing trades. There's going to be instances where you get into a position and then it doesn't work out and it immediately violates the safety line. In that scenario, you have to take a loss. But this is where, as long as we implement this strategy consistently and over again, we allow probabilities to work in our favor. This is the point here. So we need one strategy that we can implement consistently over and over again. I need you guys to have a workout that is so simple that you can go to the gym and do this over and over again. As long as you do this same workout over and over and over again, probabilities are going to work in your favor. What's so funny, and I've seen a few comments in the chat, and I don't usually like to address negativity, but some people have said there's no way this strategy works out because of fake outs or because of X, Y, and Z. This strategy has been back tested. If you take every single setup, you take every break of every line, at the very end, worst case scenario was that you ended break even. Crazy. Now, how do we just simply get one leg up instead of being break even? How crazy that worst case scenario was just you ended where you started. I'll take it. Most people can't do that. 90% of traders actually lose money. So even if that scenario happens to you, you're in the 10%. Congratulations. How do we add just one layer? Now, there is much more to this. There is criteria. There are things that we can wait to happen in order for us to get into a position. We can get a little bit more scientific with our trades. But I have the confidence and the comfortability and the excitement of this strategy that if you take this system here now and you implement this over and over and over again, I know the power of the safety line is going to keep you safe and allow probabilities to work in your favor. That worst case scenario is break even. Now, but with that being said, there are still losing months involved and there are still losing trades involved. This is being able to implement this over a long period of time. That's what many people do not do. Most people don't go to the gym long enough to see the transformation. So I need you guys to implement something long enough to see the transformation. But there are ways to shortcut this, and I'm going to be completely 100% with you guys. We're already coming up on 2 hours now, and I know that's just a massive amount of time, but there's so much information I could give you guys. I mean, you already know that. You've done your research. I want you to know that there are ways to get pickier about trades. Instead of taking every single setup, what does it look like to just take a few good ones? What does it look like to find a good one? There is more to it. I will be honest with you guys. But this right here is me taking you guys to the gym, introducing you to a workout, and seeing what you can do with it. If you want to see bigger results or better results, that's where maybe you're going to need a personal trainer. And there is absolutely an opportunity to work with myself. I'm not going to say that I'm not allowing you guys to get into TLT, and I'll explain it and we'll get into it in just a little bit. I just want, and I may be going too far ahead, but I want you guys to know that yes, there is more to this, but I want you guys to leave here today with something that you can implement yourself, a workout that you can go do yourself without anybody else, that you feel confident enough walking into the gym and you see that machine, you're like, yeah, I know how to do that one workout that Tory taught me. I'm gonna go do this again and again. So this is what I would feel confident and comfortable with you guys leaving this masterclass tonight with this workout. So let's say that you do your top-down analysis here. Are you going to get into any position? So we're back on strategy, back on this specific trade. We've done our top-down analysis on Bitcoin. We have done the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour. Now we're in the 1 hour time frame. Are we going to get into a position right here, right now? Correct, Ricky. No, we're not getting to a position. What needs to happen in order for us to think of getting into a position? Boom. Price needs to break. Pretty easy. We need an action line. We need price to break one of these two lines. Do we know which one it's going to break? No. We don't have any sort of bias. We are so open to either one. Price can break either one of these, and we are so okay with it. Price can break either one. It can break the downward. It can break the upward. Are we getting into a position now? Yes. Why are we getting into a position now? Because price broke a trend line. Price broke our downward trend line. Now we're going to say, since I'm using the replay tool, it shoots the candle out as though it just had already happened. Best case scenario, price broke this trend line. We're getting in somewhere over here. So just, I want you guys to know that the feature that I'm using will pop out every next bit of price action for its entirety. So this is, we don't get to see this price slowly move up higher and higher and higher and higher. So since price broke a downward trend line, it now has a name, an action line, and now it's time to get into the trade. What position are we going to take? Is this going to be a buy order or a sell order? This is going to be a buy order, correct. This is a buy order because price is giving us an indication that it is no longer trending down because it broke the downward trend line. It's telling us that it is breaking the downward trend line and that it is no longer trending down. So we're thinking of taking a buy order. we're thinking of taking long positions. So I'm going to throw this emoji up here. As soon as price broke this downward trend line, now it broke all three in one candle. But there was a moment in time where the price was moving up and breaking all of these. As soon as price broke this downward trend line, boom, we're getting into our position here. How long do we stay in this position for? We're going to let this run until our safety line is broken. So we have an action line, it's the downward trend line. The opposing trend line is our safety line. That's how long we're going to stay in for. Now, this was a cherry-picked trade, but I want you guys to see how cool it is to be able to put yourself in a position like this. Let's see what happens. I also want you guys to see the very real reality of trading. So you'll get into a position, and then boom, let's say it's just you are immediately making money. Oh my gosh, amazing. You're thinking, is this beginner's luck? I can't believe I'm making money already. And price is pulling right back down. You just gave up all of that profit from here to here. I want you guys to be so aware and so comfortable that price ebbs and flows. It's going to move up. It's going to move down. The coolest part is we don't have to make a decision just because we lost some money just now, just because we lost some profit. The coolest part about this system and this strategy is that we allow the price and the trend lines to dictate how long we stay in a trade, when to get in, and what position to take. So even though we're giving up some of our profit, that's okay. Even though we were up, maybe $100 here, maybe $1,000, depending on how big of a position you got into, we had to give half of that back. That's okay. We got to get okay with that. Price is going to ebb and flow, move up and move down. As long as it respects the trend line, we're staying in. Oh my gosh, we are back to break even. Imagine how much anxiety that's going to give you guys. I need you to be fully prepared for that now before you go and doing this on your own. And side note, if you are doing this for the first time ever, make sure that you do this with fake money. Do not put your real capital at risk. I feel like I have to say that disclaimer. Do not do this on your own with real money if you've never done this before. Paper money, yes, MK. Do paper money, do fake money. You were up and had to just watch all of it come back. If you can allow the safety line to tell you when to get out, you can put yourself in positions for something like this without panicking because price moved against you. Okay, we're back up. All right, we're feeling good again. We're feeling okay. Oh, price is moving down a little bit. Oh my gosh, looks like it's getting ready to cross this. Are we going to have to get out? No. Imagine just having trust in your safety line to be like, you know what? I'm going to let the price follow the safety line. And now this is a best case scenario. I want you guys to know there's going to be times where you were up and then you gave it back and then you had to close a trade either with a loss or at a break even. This is a scenario where if you let the safety line dictate your exit, you were able to stay in for something like this. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's ripping and rolling. Are we to the moon right now? Did you have to predict that the price of Bitcoin was going to do something like this? Absolutely not. The coolest part is we just allowed the price to tell us when to get in, what direction to take, and now we're going to stay in as long as the price continues moving along this safety line. So let it go. Okay, we're still up. Ooh, we're panicking a little bit. Are we panicking? Oh, we just had to give almost half of this move back. Price moved all the way up, almost halfway retraced, pulled back this much money. Should we close? Price looks like it's pulling back against us. I'm wondering, should I close? Someone says yes. No, we're going to let it run. We're staying in. Remember, the name of the game here is we're not guessing. We're not guessing when, we're not making emotional decisions. We're not guessing when to get in, guessing when to get out. We're not trying to predict. We're allowing the price to tell us. This is how probabilities works in our favor. If we start to incorporate emotional trading, if we start to try to guess, it removes the ability to allow probabilities to work in our favor. We need a system and structure that we can replicate again and again and again that allows probabilities to work in our favor. So we can't have different variables coming into this. So let's see what happens here. Ooh, okay, we might have to close this position and have given back all of this profit here, which also is okay. Okay. Is it going to break? Oh my gosh. Crazy. Crazy to see Bitcoin, of all instruments, respect a trend line. That's crazy. Okay, it's awfully close. Are we going to have to close? All right, how many are closing? Yes. Close our position. Price violated our safety line. This is telling us that there's an indication that the price is no longer trending up. We're closing our position here. So I'm going to go back and throw my emoji right here. Did I do the right direction? Let me see. Nope. There we go. We are closing our position right here. Boom. Price violated our safety line. We're getting out. We were just able to capitalize from here, from 64,800 all the way to 67,916. Now, something that I want to show you guys about this strategy, we're not catching highs and lows. We're not trying to predict highs and lows. We're just trying to catch movement in between. We're trying to catch these trends or this distance in between. So we're just trying to catch these chunks of movement. When price breaks a line, we're thinking long positions or short positions, depending on which line. We're just trying to capitalize on all of these movements. So we knew when to get in, when price broke the downward trend line, the action line, and we knew when to get out. Now, let's say that maybe some of you guys didn't take a long position. Maybe some of you guys didn't get in here. This also could be an indication to take some short positions. If you didn't take this long position back here, maybe you weren't watching Bitcoin, now you can go short. And I'm going to just fly through an example here of if someone was to take a short position. Now remember, you would still have to do the same concept. You do your top-down analysis. You make sure that your trend lines don't intersect. These we can delete. Boom, boom. If you didn't take a long position here and you were watching Bitcoin for the first time, when price broke this upward trend line, that would have been your indication to take a short position. And then price moved aggressively in your favor. Now, not as good as this upward trend line, but this is the meat of the strategy. This is where I want to show you guys. This is the workout. I want you to take this on your own and replicate it again and again and again. Now, some things that I want to explain to you guys is that, one, there is more to it. Just like when you're trying to work out and maybe you've made it to like a level to where you're healthy and you've got an idea for the gym and you're working out and you're doing the same workout, but like now you've got a very specific physique that you want to work towards. Now there's more that's involved. You need to work on your nutrition. You need to work on some different workouts. You're going to need more than one workout, more than one setup. And there are more. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm not trying to say, but wait, there's more. I just, based on the time that I have with you guys tonight, this right here, this simple workout is going to put you in position for consistency. This is simple enough to replicate. This has a system that you can replicate again and again and again. You can do this top-down analysis. You draw your trend lines. You make sure that you're abiding by our rules, by our guidelines. You know when to get in and you know when to get out. You have got the basics or the simplicity of a strategy now. But now let me just walk you guys through a little bit more. So we're going to go back to slides. But this is usually my favorite part. And sometimes I know it's getting late and my energy is depleting a little bit because we've gone through a lot of information, a lot of strategy. But I still get so excited when people just think that they're not smart enough to trade. This is what I do. I draw lines on charts. To be honest, if you're artsy fartsy, you can do something like this. So many people think that they're not qualified or they can't do this. This system is the meat of the strategy here. This is what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I know you can do it. I know you guys can draw the trend lines. We've walked through the top-down analysis. I've walked you guys through when to get in and when to get out. Now it's just up to you to replicate this. So give me just a moment. We're going back now. It's going to be purple, so get ready. There it is. This can work for anyone at any level. Now, I want to walk you guys through one more example here. So we talked about Arslan. We talked about my story. I want to talk about Manny. And I'm curious if we've got Manny in the chat. Manny almost always attends every single masterclass. I'd be surprised. Manny, are you in here tonight? Maybe not. Well, keep a lookout. You guys might find Manny. Manny, now this is going back to mindset. So we're bringing a little bit of the hype down, the excitement down. Looking through the charts and then understanding that this is a a strategy that you can actually implement is so exciting. Like that is the pinnacle. Like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can draw lines on a chart. I can see when to get in, when to get out. I can follow price. Anybody can do that. Anybody can follow the direction here as long as we have system and a structure to it. So Manny came in. So this is just another where I want you guys to understand where people started or where I started. Manny came in having already trying different strategies. So I'm sure some of you guys have already tried different strategies. I asked you guys earlier, and you guys gave some pretty advanced answers. Some of you guys already said ICT. Some of you guys said supply and demand. But the issue here is that Manny came in with different strategies, trying a bunch of different strategies. SMC, yeah. So some of you guys already have some different strategies under your belt. Manny did the same thing. He had some different strategies that didn't work. Now, maybe they didn't work for him, or maybe it's the fact that he was just trying very different strategies or many different strategies. But he had been paper trading for 3 months and could not execute with confidence. How many of you guys have been trading for 3 months already? Okay, so Xavier's got a different strategy under his belt as well. Okay, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. Okay. 3 years. Okay, Manny was in the same position. Had 3 months already under his belt, but couldn't execute confidence. On top of that, had some personal challenges, adding financial and emotional pressure, which I was kind of in a similar boat to where I had to publicly take a giant loss in front of hundreds of thousands of people in my 2023. And there were many years before that, 2023, where I had been in some financial situations or some financial struggle. And I'm sure some of you guys have been in that same position. So on top of trying to learn a strategy, you're already going through some personal challenges, maybe some financial challenges. Manny was going through the same thing. Experiencing FOMO and not confident with his entries and exits. Troubled with the entries and exits. And lack of confidence with his approach. Which, I mean, to be fair, like when you've got so much information and so many different strategies, it is very hard to be confident on one. So it is fair to say that when he started, Manny did not have everything figured out. But how many of you guys today can relate to Manny? So some of you guys already have 3 or more months of trading under your belt. Some of you guys maybe already have different strategies that you have tried. Maybe you don't have the confidence. You don't know when to execute. When do you get in? When do you get out? How do you feel confident about a position? How many of you guys have been into trading and you're also going through some emotional and financial struggles simultaneously? Does not help. Manny was able to make an entire 180-degree turn. If y'all can do it, if I can do it, if Manny can do it, if Arslan can do it, I'm telling you, you, Sandra, can do it. You, George, can do it. You, Anna, can do it. December in 2025, 3K profit. Okay, that's not crazy, but like found his footing. I'll take it. Dude, I'm sure any of y'all will take a 3K month for sure. But the next month is crazy. What was Manny able to do the next month? Manny had a $19,000 profit. Going from a $3,000 profit to 19 is impressive. Absolutely impressive. And you guys can see week to week to week. So he took one losing trade. He placed one trade on the 5th of January. He placed one trade on the 6th. He placed 4 trades on the 8th. So he was placing multiple trades. But week after week after week after week, he was green. A $3,000 week, a $3,000 week, a $2,000 week, a $9,000 week at the end of the month. So he was able to have that $3,000 profit in December, but completely make a huge impact, a huge shift to $19,000 in profit. So December, 3,000, January, 19. I hope everyone is doing well. This is Manny here. I just finished the 5th week of TLT. If you don't know what TLT is, I'll get into it a little bit later. I have noticed a significant improvement in my trading skills. Daily live streams, implementation calls, ongoing constructive feedback from our coaches, chart analysis, trade review classmates, what attributed to a small but meaningful progress. So his small but meaningful progress was that 3,000 in December. I'll take it, absolutely. But then turned into a $19,000 January. This wasn't just the case with Manny. We also had Crystal. Crystal spent 27 years at the same job and never took a vacation. That freaking hurts. That's insane. Now, how many of you guys can relate to something like this? 27 years at the same job and no vacation. Dude, Crystal, I need to see something here because this hurts. This hurts. What has Crystal got? What did Crystal do? When she took her first vacation, this is when everything changed. She saw the potential with trading. Many of you guys here started in a position to where you're terrified to place a trade. And someone mentioned it very earlier in tonight's masterclass. It was something called analysis paralysis. This is where you have so much information. You've done so much analysis on your charts. You've looked at it from 100 different angles, but you don't know how to get in. Like there's just too much happening that you're terrified to actually get into a position. I know some of you guys have experienced that before because there is a plethora of information online that is telling you to get in for many different reasons. So Crystal was terrified just to place a trade. There were months where she was green though. Okay, wait a minute. She's green, but then she loses it. There is this like cycle of like she makes money and then she loses money and then she makes money and then she loses money. Where does that cycle break? When does that cycle break? Fast forward, she discovered the 4-hour time frame. We talked about the 4-hour time frame. You guys saw my transition from the 1 hour to the 4 hour. Remember, this is just preference. You'll see what happened when she discovered the 4-hour time frame. Now, it doesn't mean that it's the perfect time frame. This is just her preferred way of slicing the pie. It gave her so much confidence in her trading that the results were $6K in profit in 2025. Now, that's still impressive. Now, it may not be, my $100,000 year in 2023 that you saw, but $6,000 in profit. She ended green. Okay, amazing. That's still impressive. 6,000, I'm sure even some of you guys here tonight would be happy with 6,000 in trading for the end of the year as an additional source of income. Absolutely. She was able to refine her strategy, make it her own. Fast forward just 2 months. So 2 months after her year, she had $33,000 in profits. So this is where the snowball effect is so real. The snowball effect is so real. In 2 months, ended with $33,000 in profits to date. In only 14 trades, which is the absolute most mind-blowing part here. 14 trades. So this is where she got more scientific with her entries. She got a little bit more precise and a little bit more picky. So remember, the strategy that I showed you guys, you can take every single trade, every single setup. But how do you take better setups? How do you take the more precise setups? How do you get a little bit more scientific with it? How do you get pickier with it? It's where you develop criteria. More needs to happen before you get into every single trade. How do you pass up on some? Crystal was able to develop a system where she got pickier with her trades. She didn't take every single trade now. She was pickier with her trades. She passed up on a few, and in 14 trades, made $33,000 in 2 months. Let's go, Crystal. Now, the next one is a special one. This is P, aka Payal. P, I am sorry if you were on tonight, and I know it is late for you. I'm curious. If you're not here, it's totally okay, but I have a feeling you are. If P is here tonight, I want to walk through P's story. So this is Payal. Payal is now a coach. Something crazy must have had to have happened in order for her to be beginner to now she is a coach. What could she have possibly done? And let me just let you know that our coaches, they are not picked lightly. Like, you've got to be a prodigy to be made a coach. And let me just tell you, we've got one here. Payal is now one of our top coaches, but when she started, she did not have it all figured out. So I want you guys to know that everybody starts somewhere. P did not have it all figured out. She was experiencing emotional trading, which, remember, we walked through some examples when price comes up and you're making money, but then you have to watch all of it come back. And how do you regulate those emotions? It is with strategy. Allow strategy to dictate entries and exits. But it's not easy for everyone. When you see you're up and then you watch it disappear, it gets emotional, which is very valid. P was experiencing emotional trading. After a few red trades, her rules started to kind of dissipate a little bit. That safety line was kind of harder to abide by when you get emotional, and she was forcing trades. After joining my program, TLT, which is, we've mentioned this 100 times, she was removing the excuses. She removed all excuses, and I remember she manifested heavy. She's like, I'm making this work. So there is no plan B. We are making this work. We're not quitting. Removed all excuses. And the coaching that she had wasn't about hype. So everyone wasn't being like, you're the best, way to go, even when she wasn't. This was about accountability. She was able to have accountability, which is one of the biggest things. So this is where we go back to the concept of like the gym works. It works. But like, why is everyone not fit? And this could go with tonight's masterclass. Tonight's masterclass, I showed you guys the workout. But now what's going to keep you and hold you accountable to go practice that workout again and again and again? What's going to get you on the charts and continuing to practice and get in those reps again and again and again? Some of you guys have the discipline. Some of you guys can. Some of you guys can do it. Some of you guys don't. I'm going to be totally 100 with you guys. When it comes to the gym, I don't have that discipline. I have to have someone holding me accountable. I got to have someone holding my hand and taking me to the gym and showing me what to do. And that's just my personality. When it comes to the gym specifically, that's just how I am. So when I go, I'm usually not going solo. I got a buddy. So this is where accountability comes into play. Accountability is key. Exactly what Brandon said here. This is where P was able to experience the utmost help because she had someone holding her accountable. P ended 2025. This is pretty freaking crazy. I want you guys to see that's not 9,000. That's not 7,000. That is $97,000 in trading profits. What? Insane. This is where when you have the right environment, you have got the right accountability, you have got a system that really clicks, that resonates with you, and then you hit it hard. This is what could be possible. But remember, most people, the gym is there. The gym is right there. My gym is somewhere over here. It's there. I just got to go. I got to go and I got to keep going. You can't just go one time. You can't just place one trade. You've got to keep going. This is exactly what P did. So what are the traders that actually make it have in common? What do you guys think? Out of everyone's story that you've heard tonight, you've heard mine, you've heard Arslan, you've heard Manny, you've heard P, you've heard Crystal. What do they all have in common? Not to be confused with, yep, Trey, you clocked it. Not to be confused with that. It's not talent. We were all very different. Arslan's very calculated, very analytical, very calm. I'm pretty emotional, if I'm being honest with y'all. It's not time. You saw very different timelines. You saw P with 6 months. You saw Arslan with around the same time. Actually, P, I believe, was actually within 6 months. Arslan was in 6 months. Okay, they happen to have a similar story. My $100,000 year was years after. Crystal made her improvement in 2 months. Everyone has very different timelines. So it's not time, and it's not talent, and it's not capital. Everyone has very different capital. It's mindset. It's discipline. It's consistency. It is going all the way back to what Arslan said. It is community, accountability, and it is a system that you can consistently replicate over and over and over again. I have walked in your exact shoes. I mean, I've already told my story. And some of you guys, I mean, to be honest, I want you to see that like we didn't have the background. Some of these traders are complete beginners. I was a complete beginner. Some traders have other strategies under their belt. They've been trading for a few years. They've been trading for a few months. It is possible, but we're all in kind of different situations and in different walks of life. But if you are a beginner tonight, I have been in your exact shoes. I know what it feels like. And the most dangerous stage for any trader is poor trading that gets rewarded with profit. Remember we talked about that beginner's luck? I don't want you guys to have beginner's luck and think that this is so easy, anybody can do it. Remember, that one trade that worked out that maybe had no system and was with very poor trading, poor risk management, if you try to replicate that again, the likelihood of you losing it is very high. So rewarding improper trading or poor trading with profit is the worst thing that can happen to a beginner trader. Because then they think that's like, you'd think it's like the concept of positive reinforcement, but the opposite. Like they think, okay, I just did everything wrong, but I got rewarded for it. Like, should I do this again? No, because the likelihood of you doing that again and then losing it is very high. You start to create false confidence. A few wrong turns, you'll start questioning if you'll make it. You'll probably ask yourself, Tory, how did you build your mindset? How did you keep going? So outside of the negative reinforcement or the bad trading that gets rewarded, how do you keep going though? Remember you guys saw my January in 2023? How did I keep going after a January like that? It is because I had a system that I could depend on every trading day. It's because the system was simple enough for me to comprehend, for me to digest, and for me to replicate over and over and over again. The workout was simple enough to where I could go to the gym confidently and do it myself on my own without someone's help. I had confidence that I could do it again and again and again. Same with the trading strategy. If I show you something too complicated or too intimidating, you're not going to go do it on your own. This system was so digestible for me that I just knew I could replicate this. So, to be honest, I had a mentor. So my mentor was my uncle. I saw that he did it. I knew that I could do it. And now I want to be that mentor for you guys. I want to be that person. Not only me. I want P to be that person. I want Arslan to be that person. I want Manny to be that person. I want Crystal to be that person, to show you guys what is possible. You just have to put in the work. You've got to get the reps in. You've got to have a system that is simple enough that you can depend on every trading day. I had guardrails to protect me from making the wrong choices. And you can call the guardrail maybe something called a safety line. I had a safety line to help me. It made me feel very confident in my positions, that I didn't have to guess. As long as price respected this line and continued up, I could hold my trade and stay in my position and make my profits. But I also knew that if price disrespected or violated the safety line, I was either going to have to take a loss or close that trade break even. I just felt very good about this system. So I had guardrails to protect me from making the wrong choices. This is why I showed you guys tonight. We've got action line, we've got safety line. This gave me the environment that I needed to succeed. I had the structure, I had the accountability, and I had the feedback. Now, when I learned from my uncle, I had the feedback right there. I had a person right here next to me that could say, yes, you're doing it right, or no, you're doing it wrong. And I know that I'm very privileged to have had that. Most people do not have that. Most of you guys don't have someone that you can touch right next to you that can show you what to do and give you immediate feedback. Most people don't. Most of you guys don't have accountability. Have someone holding your hand, dragging you to the gym every day, or taking you to the charts, making sure that you're staying consistent with your trading. Tonight you have the structure, but I want to show you guys an environment that can happen with accountability and feedback. Most people learning how to trade right now are doing it without any of the above. If I'm being honest with you guys, most people, you guys are here now that you at least have an idea from the structure. Most people don't even have that. They are just trying to get into the markets with anything and just throw what is it called? Throw a dart at the wall and see what sticks. Most people are doing that. I mean, don't even look at accountability or feedback yet. Most people do not even have a structure. But imagine compounding that with accountability and feedback. Most people learning to trade right now do not have any of the above. Drop a 1 in the chat if you think that is true for you. Do you have the accountability? Do you not have the feedback? Do you not have the accountability? Where are you at? Okay. All right. Most people don't. And don't be hard on yourself if you don't, because most people don't. I understand. I was very privileged to have someone that I could actually touch, could get immediate feedback, had a great environment for learning. I had a system that was easy enough to learn. Like, all of the stars aligned for me. And I know that that's not normal for everyone. I know that not all of you guys have a mentor or have someone that can show you a system, and then you can have that not only will show you a system that will hold you accountable, that will hold your hand and drag you to the gym every day, and that will give you immediate feedback. Oh, you're doing that squat wrong. Your form looks a little bit off. Make this adjustment. Most of you guys don't have that, and I understand that. There are 2 types of people in this masterclass right now. Day 1 traders and 1-day traders. What do you think the difference between day 1 and 1 day is? I know you guys have heard this. If any of you guys read any self-help or aspiring to be anyone successful, I know you have heard this phrase before, just minus the trader part. It is the 1 day and the day 1. 1 day I'll get serious. 1 day I'll stop jumping between strategies. 1 day I'll get the help that I need. That day usually never comes. Waiting for the star to align in every single aspect for the perfect time, the right time, I'm telling you guys, it never happens. That is within many areas of life when it comes to success. Before starting that business, or before taking that leap, or before learning how to trade, before doing X, Y, and Z, before getting into this hobby, or maybe getting into this sport, waiting for everything to perfectly align, it never happens, and you guys know it doesn't. But the difference isn't knowledge. It is the decision and the deal that I made you guys at the beginning. So if you guys are still here, which I applaud you guys. I could probably be so much faster at giving you guys all of the information, but it's just my style. And to be honest, this will be something that I will get better at. And as I continue to do this more and more, I will get more efficient. But walking you guys through the strategy, but getting you guys in the perfect headspace before we get into it, I'm telling you guys, it is required. I want to set you up for success and giving you guys this information. But essentially, listen, I'm going off the rails here. If you're still here 2.5 hours later, I will show you guys what it looks like when we're in your corner. We have developed the most hands-on personalized training for every trader. This is called TLT. Now, I want you guys to know that this is not some pre-recorded course. The industry has changed, has shifted. People cannot learn from a pre-recorded video anymore and just immediately implement something and find success. This is live training. This is day to day. If you enjoyed this session, imagine many, 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 many more. This is where I'm sorry, Anthony, there's not a course. It's not a course. You're not going to watch a pre-recorded video. This is an actual, and I'm going to walk back through here, personalized, hands-on live training. If you enjoyed tonight's live training, you're going to love TLT. This is it. So for everyone that I had made the promise for at the beginning, that wanted something more, that was like, okay, I get it. I see the strategy. I love it. It's digestible. It's tangible. I can see myself doing it. But like, how do I put myself in the right environment with the right accountability and direct feedback? This is through live training. You cannot watch a course anymore. I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. It's just not the same. You can't see a strategy be implemented through a video that was recorded 4 years ago on a chart that happened 4 years ago. You need to see this strategy implemented with real-time price action, day to day. How do I incorporate this strategy on crude oil today? Like, what happened today? I need to see this happen again and again. I need to see you incorporate this strategy over and over and over again. This is why TLT is so different. This is not a course. I ain't selling you a course. Here you go, watch my videos. No, this is live training. This is called TLT, Trendline Trading. In this program, we have 3 phases. One is foundation. So we give you guys all of the foundation, the entire system, the entire strategy. I need to know that you have got the system down like the back of your hand. This is where this is all the learning. Now, most people start in very different areas. Some of you guys already have some experience. So phase 1 is going to be very easy for you. Some of you guys are complete beginners. So you're going to need to utilize all of phase 1 with its entirety from start to finish. So it's very beginner based, phase 1, but we are building the foundation so that you understand the strategy. We build your path. This is not a one size fits all. We understand that everyone's on very different paths. Some of you guys already have a lot of trading knowledge under your belt. Some of you guys are complete beginners. This is why this is not a pre-recorded course that you're going to go watch and goodbye. I hope the best for you. This is a live training, live program, live trading, live implementation, but this is also we're creating a roadmap for specifically you. So we've got a custom trading roadmap. This has a clear trading approach based on your schedule, your goals, and your life. Now, remember we talked about preference? We were like, how do you prefer your pie to be sliced? Do you like it to be in the 5-minute, in the 4-hour? We understand that people have different preferences, different goals, different lifestyles. Some of you guys are very busy. We understand that as well. So how do we curate a trading approach based on you and your schedule and your goals in your life? It starts in simulation. Remember, we talked about fake money. If you didn't know that before, phase 1 is with fake money. Simulated money. I want you guys to see that the strategy can be implemented with fake money first. I want to make sure that you got the proper entries, the proper exits. You guys know what the action line is. You know what the safety line is. Maybe you even know how to learn how to get pickier about your trades. You're not taking every single setup here. Proper entries, proper exits. No financial risk involved in phase 1. Phase 1 is fake money, paper money. Now, phase 2, imagine how crazy. We get to help you move into live trading. Some of you guys can't do that on your own. And I understand that. I mean, I sim traded for an entire year. Some people have such analysis paralysis that they can never make the transition to actually putting real money on the line. This is where phase 2 comes in, and we have coaches here with you, helping you move to live trading. Now, you have to go through phase 1 first to make sure that my coaches are confident enough in you to make that transition to live trading. But this is the coolest part. What is a brokerage? How do I put real money into something? Do I want to use, remember at the very beginning, we talked about a personal funded account or a funded account where you're trading somebody else's money? We can show you the different options. Which one best suits you? Are you going to open up your own personal account? Or are you going to use funded accounts? We walk you guys through all of it. So phase 2 is live trading. You move to real money. Now, this is either your own account or prop firm account, but this is where now your emotional control gets tested. So I can imagine that some of you guys, when you start to trade live money, the emotions get a lot higher. You start getting a little bit more emotional with your trading. Totally valid. We already understand. It happens to everyone. This is where when you move into phase 2, you're working with 70% psychology now. Now it's like, okay, how do I deal with my emotions? How do I deal with my psychology to keep me in this trade and continue to just follow the system? The system stays the same. It's just psychology gets a little bit crazy when you move into live trading. So this is where it's 70% psychology and 30% strategy. You're not alone. We host live coaching calls. This part is even crazier. Let's say that you are still struggling. Like you're in phase 2, you've gone through phase 1, you've gone through phase 2, you're still struggling. We will give you guys an ICU emergency call if you're still really struggling. Like, what do you need? Like, let's hop on a call to see, okay, what is the struggle here? Now, some of you guys don't, but it's an emergency ICU call in case you are really struggling. Outside of that, live coaching calls are happening every single day. Besides, I think the only day that we don't do is like Saturday because the markets aren't even open. We've even got a Sunday call. We got emergency ICU calls. You got direct access to the team. So this is where you have got a one-on-one chat with a coach. If you're like, I don't know where to find this, I need help with this, you get your trades reviewed every single time you place a trade. Now, this part is pretty cool. This is where there's a platform that allows us to see every single trade that you place. So we're going to need you to have a program called TradeZella, which is what you sync to your trading account to allow us to see every single trade. So this is where the accountability comes into play. Let's say that you are going on tilt. Remember we talked about tilt? You placed like 50 trades in a day. You traded emotionally. You didn't trade based on the strategy. Your coach is going to be able to see that. No matter what, we see all your trades. So this is where accountability comes into play. So maybe you took a wrong turn. You took a left turn. You went on tilt. Your coach is going to be able to reel it back. They're going to be able to see it, first of all, be like, hey, Beth, I see something happened here. What happened on Tuesday? You placed 50 trades. You never do that. Or Brian, hey, I realized you took a $1,000 loss. That's far beyond your risk limits. What happened on this trade? This is a much bigger loss than you normally take. This is a much bigger loss than your 1 to 2% that we're supposed to take. This is where your coach can see every single trade you take. Now, the TradeZella does come free. With TLT, we offer that to every single student because we need the ability to see every single one of your trades. So we've got TradeZella. And now moving into phase 3. Phase 3 is about scaling. So you guys remember Manny. Manny had that $3,000 month. How did he scale? He had that $3,000 month in December, then came back with a $33,000 month the following month. This is where it is now consistency and emotional mastery. All of these phases are the same strategy. What changes? It is consistency and emotional mastery. This is where you learn how to scale responsibly, but now it's 99% psychology. Now you're trading bigger positions. You're working on scaling. You're working on holding these bigger positions. And this is where psychology comes into play. It's much more emotional. Now, when you're working on scaling, this is 99% psychology, 1% strategy. By the end of this, it is almost entirely psychology that you're working on. Trendline trading is my version of recreating the environment that I had. I had the uncle. I had the positive environment. I had the immediate feedback, and I had the system that was easy enough to replicate, to understand. This is me recreating that environment for you guys. So if you are someone who wants to take this seriously, this is your chance. You might not have noticed that I do not promote TLT publicly. This isn't something that I am shouting from the rooftops. So if you guys are just now hearing about TLT, it's meant to be that way. This is meant to be a program that is not to the public. Now, why? There's an important reason for that. It's one, because it's not for everyone. It requires commitment, and honestly, not everyone is ready for that. If you are here today If you were made for this, which first of all, if you're still here, it is 9:41 p.m. We are now 2 hours and 41 minutes in. If you have sat in this long and you were like, listen, Tori, I'm locked in. I see the vision. I saw the strategy. I can see myself implementing this. If you are here now, this was made for you. You might be a fit. This is just the reality of people who show up to things. Now, many people have already dropped off. They haven't stayed on. They maybe can't see the system or see the strategy, or maybe they're going to go ahead and do it on their own. Some of you guys will show up, but you won't do it consistently. You'll show up one day. Maybe I showed you guys the gym. I showed you the workout and you got excited, and then you went home and then you just couldn't quite go back. And you kept telling yourself, like, I'm going to go back. Tori showed me this was so cool, but you couldn't quite continue to go back to the gym, which is okay. I mean, some people don't. We got the gym. It works. Why isn't everyone fit? If anything I said today resonated with you, if you're the kind of person that you know you need the accountability, I know what I need. I'm very self-aware when it comes to the physique that I want to have, or the level of fitness that I want to have. I just know I need accountability. That's just me. I understand that I am that kind of person. I need the accountability. I need the support, and I need the structure. If you are the kind of person that needs the same thing, you need the structure, you need the accountability, you need the support, there's an application. If you qualify, you can book a call to speak with my team. This is a valuable conversation. I want you guys to understand the conversation that you get on. So the wait list, I have a wait list that's going. If you have attended and you have made it this far in tonight's masterclass, you are jumping the line. You get to jump the line and go straight to the application. If you do get approved for the application and you get to jump on a call with my team, understand that the call that you're getting on is very valuable. The call that you're going to get on in itself is life-changing. It is really just walking through, where are you at? What is your mindset like? Do you think that you can apply this? Like, are you the kind of person, are you going to be the one? Remember that my uncle was the one in the family that showed me how. I wanted to be him. I wanted to be the one in the family, and I have made it. I have made it to the one in my family that I'm now the person that's sharing my success. I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm sharing as much as I can because I went out on a limb, learned from my uncle. He's taught many of our family members. He gave the information out. But what was the difference between everyone else in the family that he taught and me? What was the difference? Just like the information that you guys have, the information is there. It is readily available. The gym is there. Everyone can go. You have got to be consistent. You have got to do it again and again. You need the structure, you need the environment, and you need the feedback. So this conversation that you have with my team is going to be incredibly valuable. We want to learn about you. We want to know where you're at, what you've tried, and what you're struggling with. And then we want to see if we can help you personally, like if we can help you where you're at. And this is where it also helps us. Remember, when we're talking about this program, TLT, it's very personalized. Where are you at? Do you have tons of experience? What time frame do you trade? Do you already trade the 4 hour? Are you a beginner? Are you going to need to double down on phase 1 and work on the foundation first? Or are you already an experienced trader? Maybe you've already been trading the trend line strategy and you can hop right into stage 2. We just need to figure out where you're at. We need to learn about you, where you're at, what you've tried, what you're struggling with, so we can give you a better idea of how to structure this for you. Now, here are your next steps. Complete the application. I already dropped the link. I'm sure some of you guys have already clicked it. Drop the link in the chat right here. I've dropped it in. You guys will see I paused the chat so that it won't disappear. In the support team, you guys can see we dropped in the link. You can apply. This is the application link. This is your application to listen, if you guys have made it this far, congratulations, dude. 2 hours and 45 minutes in. Think about, now you're already here. You've made it this long, so don't just wait here. Think about January 2027. This is less than a year from now already. Now we're already in March, so you don't even have the full year. But think about January 2027. Less than a year from now, not even a year. Where do you want to see yourself? I'm going back to I'm imagining myself in 2023. Did I see that $100,000 year? Did I know that was going to happen? My rule was just to simply not blow an account. And what I was able to do with that year was astronomical. And same with some of the other students. So where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in January of 2027? Is 2026 going to be different? It starts with that decision. Not next month. You're not that one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to do that. This is day 1. So it's not next month. It's not when you feel ready. It's today. Misha here, if you guys know Misha, which some of you guys probably don't, Misha made it into TLT. She was in stage 1. So this was her feedback on stage 1. It's been a game changer for how I approach futures trading. So this is where also you guys understand, if you're a complete beginner and maybe you don't know what futures trading is, that's okay. This is why this program is very different. This is not just a pre-recorded course that you're going to watch. I'm going to send you off and I hope it works for you. I'm not going to show you a trade or show you the strategy that was implemented on a chart 4 years ago. And you might not even know what the chart is. Maybe you don't trade Forex. Maybe you don't trade stocks. That's okay. TLT focuses on where you're at. Where do you want to be? What time frame do you want to trade? What instrument do you want to trade? What market do you want to trade? Do you need help understanding the market? Do you need help understanding what a brokerage is, what a prop firm is? We are walking you guys through all of it. So instead of just thinking, I'm going to go do my own research, I'm going to try to make this work and figure this out, I'm going to go watch some old videos, I'm going to watch somebody else do this with the plethora and black hole of information online, I just want somebody to hold my hand. And like, I get it. I want somebody to just hold my hand, check in on me, hold me accountable, and make sure that I am implementing this simple system again and again and again. I'm showing up when I need to. I am continuing to get the reps in. I'm having somebody hold my hand, check in on me. If you fall off, that's okay. My coaches are going to check in on you, be like, hey, where you been? Where you at? What are you doing? I noticed you haven't placed any trades. Why don't you bring it back? Come back in. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need the accountability. We got Emily here, stage 1 as well. Hunter has helped me find consistency in my trading as a brand new trader. Emily, brand spanking new. She was able to find consistency. She's had an accelerated path to learning how to become consistent. She feels confident. Imagine just feeling confident in a position. Imagine you see an entry and you just take it. Like, envision you have just done this so many times that you have now got the confidence in the system. You've got the confidence in the entry. You got the confidence in the exit. Izzy here. I couldn't say one bad thing about this. I love everything about TLT. Dedication with the coaches, welcoming feeling that they give a community of like-minded people. Do you guys remember at the very beginning when we talked about Arslan? One thing that he attributed his success to was the community, was having the environment of a positive community. That is what you're going to find. People that have a similar path, similar goals is going to be in this community here. It's huge to be able to also see that there are many people on the same path that you are. Maybe you'll find somebody that trades the exact same instrument as you, the exact same time frame, and maybe you even find someone that took the same exact trade as you. You're like, oh my God, let's go. We did the same trade. Or maybe you took the same loss. So then it makes you feel better about a loss that you've taken, where you're like, oh, okay, he took that same loss, so I'm doing something right. I'm able to cross-reference. Having a positive environment is huge. So much so that Arslan attested his success just to that, or to one of those things. Not only the consistency and the simple strategy, but having the positive community. Katie here. I don't know if you guys know Kate. I keep saying I don't know if you guys know. You don't know Katie. I know Katie. Katie is a student of TLT. She's already graduated. She also is an entrepreneur where she has a bakery. And I don't know if she mentioned that she's an entrepreneur or has a bakery here, but if this sounds something similar to you, where you're like, I have other things going on at once, which I get it. I understand. That's why we've got calls every single day. We've even got a few calls at different times to accommodate for different time zones. But we understand that you're busy. We've got a call every single day of the week besides Saturdays. There is something for you to learn every single day of the week besides Saturday. But we know that you're busy. So if you can only show up to maybe 3 days of the week, or 2 days, or 1 day, or maybe one time you're able to show up to every single call, that's okay too. But we understand that you're busy. And the coolest part about this strategy is I feel like it caters to the entrepreneur. If you are someone who is super busy, you've got the side hustles, the side gigs that you're working on. This is something that it is simple enough for you to, you don't have to put in, you don't have to get a 4-year degree. You don't have to put in 97 hours of watching videos and just to simply understand the system. What you guys learned tonight is the meat of the strategy. We're going to layer some things on. We're going to help you get pickier about your trades. How do we know which ones to pass up on? How do we know which ones we feel best about or we feel better about? How do we know how to create criteria? What more needs to happen? We're going to walk you guys through that, but we are not going to complicate the process. We're not going to give you rocket science. This isn't going to be a foreign language. This is simple enough for even the entrepreneur who has 1,000 things going on to incorporate. Katie is one of which. Santiago started the program in October of 2025. I started in October of 2025. I am ready to move to stage 2. Had Coach Bazil for stage 1. Great support and knowledge. Super attitude. We love Bazil. It's been a game changer in my trading knowledge. The daily calls, the Q&As, the weekend preps, the chats, Tory and the team have created a structure with everything that an aspiring trader needs. I'm telling you everything. It's because this isn't like a video. This isn't something that you watch one time. This isn't an old trade. This is truly curating something that best helps you, and you can see it be implemented every single day. You can see the strategy being implemented with real-time price action. Let's say that you see what, your favorite instrument is on your favorite time frame. You can see it be implemented today, but then how do you trade it tomorrow, in the next day, in the next day? How do you trade it with the current market conditions? What are the markets doing? We already know there's some crazy things happening in the world right now. How do we trade this strategy with what's going on in the markets? What's going on in the world? This is the coolest part. So maybe this is where live training and a pre-recorded course is so different. We are getting to see this same strategy, which maybe would have been perfect in a video, but how do you trade it with different market conditions? This is where this system and this program comes into play. You can see it be implemented with crazy price action, with average price action, with some crazy things happening in the world, and then some average things, or maybe some consolidation where price isn't going anywhere. How do we trade this strategy when price is going sideways? How do we excel on the strategy when price is trending? You get to see this strategy be implemented through all different kinds of market conditions, which is the coolest part. We've got the highest reviewed Trustpilot here. You can see 444 reviews with a 4.7. It's just me bragging a little bit. Now, if I already gave all of that out, and I know we are almost 3 hours in, I still want to give some time for some Q&As. If you have made it this far, you deserve it. Now, if you guys are familiar with Zoom at all, there is a Q&A section within Zoom that I'm going to pull up. And if you want to submit any of your questions, you have made it this far, you deserve some answers. If you've made it this far, I want to spend just at least a few minutes. I'll end us over at 10, but if you want to submit any of your questions, you have earned it. You deserve it. Let's go through some Q&As here tonight. I'm going to pull it up in the Zoom. There is a section within Zoom, if you look at the toolbar down below, that you can submit any one of your questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first question here, which says, why TradeStation? TradeStation is the first brokerage that I have ever used and the only brokerage that I have ever used. I might be open to trying another in the very near future, but this is just, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of concept. This is one brokerage. Think of it like a bank. If you don't know what TradeStation is, it is like the bank that I use to trade. It is my brokerage. So the only reason, and this was a question from Sahil, the only reason I use it is because it's all I've ever used and it works for me and it's all I know. Okay, so let's go through some more questions. Oh, we got a lot of questions about TradeStation. Oh, it's Sahil again. Okay, Deanna says, I would like to know how to adapt this strategy for prop firms. So this is where TLT is incredibly helpful. If you don't know what prop firms are, you get access to funded capital. Remember, we talked about this. You have to pass a test to get access. And to pass the test, it is essentially like there's rules. There are rules that this person or this prop firm wants you to abide by. You have to follow their rules to get access to their capital, which is fair. They give you access to like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of trading capital, but you have to pass their rules and you have to pass their test and follow their rules, which means you need to make some slight modifications. How do you use this strategy and adapt it to their rules? This is why TLT is so helpful. You have got a group chat that is with a one-on-one coach. You've got live calls that you can attend. You've got Q&A sessions with me. You have got trade reviews that you can have a coach review your trade that you took and tell you, this is what we need to modify to help you with prop firms. We've got very, very educated coaches that have lots of experience with prop firms. I specifically don't, but what's cool is I know what my strong points are and I know what my weak points are. And my weak points are prop firm trading because I've only ever traded a personal account. But I know how to use resources. I know how to bring people in that are more knowledgeable than myself. So I've got coaches that have used prop firms to make their money in trading. They haven't used personal accounts, and they can give you, this is a question for Deanna. I don't know if Deanna is still here tonight, but Deanna asked this, how do you adapt the strategy? So in TLT, your coach will help you adapt the strategy. Okay, we've got some more questions. Hold on, let me just scroll it all the way down. Okay, here we go. The 4-hour time frame, you require a minimum of weeks worth of data. Oh, these are coming in quick. Hold on. Do you require a week's worth of data? What is required for the lower time frame? So this is anonymous. Someone didn't put their name in here. So when it comes to the lower time frames, you're more so, and most people won't know what we're talking about here. If you're a beginner, you won't know what this means, but obviously the person that asked this has some context on my strategy. When it comes to the lower time frames, we're just looking for touch points, the amount of touch points or the amount of times that the prices hit the trend line. When we're on the higher time frames, we want touch points and we want a week's worth of data. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? J-Bond says, I trade on NinjaTrader and I chart there. Should I use a different platform? You don't need to use a different platform, J-Bond. As long as you can draw lines on a chart on NinjaTrader, then you're good to go. The only thing that we'll need you to do is be able to sync NinjaTrader to TradeZella so that we can keep track of all your trades. This is where the coaches need to be able to see all of your trades so that we can hold you accountable. So we need to see when you go on tilt, what you do right, what you do wrong. This is the platform that allows us, it's called mentor mode on TradeZella. So as long as you can sync your NinjaTrader to TradeZella, you're good to go. You can chart on any platform. Okay, let's see what else we got. Ashley says, if you trade the 4-hour time frame, is that where you place your trades or do you drop down to the 1 hour for a more exact entry? So Ashley, the one rule that we have with top-down analysis is you stop at your designated time frame. That is where you stay. That is where you take your entries. That's where you do your trade management. That's where you take your exits. All in your designated time frame. You don't hop between time frames. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, let's see. I've been trying to implement the trendline trading strategy for mainly the 15-minute time frame. Would you wait for the candle to close or enter as it breaks? So this is from Esmont. Esmont, I would say with the 15-minute time frame, there's a few different types of strategies you could incorporate. Not necessarily strategies, 2 different types of playbooks that you could incorporate. And remember when I was talking about how Crystal only took 14 trades? There were many trades that she was presented with that she passed up on. And this is where you start to develop something called entry criteria. And this is where things have to happen, not just a trend line break, not just price crossing a line. More has to happen in order for you to get into a trade. And if you're trading different time frames, you could allow something like the candle to close before you get into the trade. So this could keep you from getting into some trades where if the price breaks through one of your lines, it creates an action line, but it doesn't stick, it doesn't stay on the other side and then pulls back up. That could keep you from getting into a trade. That's one criteria or one confirmation that you could add that keeps you from taking every single setup and now it helps you get just a little bit pickier. Or you could wait for something like it's called a retest. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. We'll walk you guys through it. It's just simply like a different playbook. We watched price break through. It became an action line. Opposing line is the safety line. A new playbook called a break and retest is exactly what it sounds like. You wait for the price to break, which it's an action line, but before you get in, price has to retest the line. So there's things that you can implement or incorporate to help you from taking every single trade. But the 15-minute time frame, you could do something as simple as waiting for the candle to close. It's only 15 minutes, so it's not, you're not waiting for 4 hours to happen or to a 4-hour candle to close before you get in. The 15-minute time frame and anything less, I think, is fair to wait for the candle to close. Okay, let's answer some more questions. Let's see what we got. I'll try to answer some quick ones. Anonymous says, what instrument do you recommend starting to trade with? I'm a little bit biased. I do love the futures market, and I do love micro futures. It is like a very low barrier to entry instrument that allows much smaller capital to get involved. And you've got much more leverage. Your dollar just goes a long way with the micros, specifically in the futures market, and the trading hours are great. So I would say for beginners, my biased opinion is that I recommend the micro futures instruments for beginners. Okay, Emmanuel says, what broker do you use? Oop, where'd it go? What broker do you use to trade gold with? I use TradeStation. Okay. Someone wants to know, if you are in a trade in the green and it's consolidating, what do you do? So best case scenario is always just opt for the safety line. If it has broken your safety line and it has moved sideways through it, it's time to close. This is where you don't have to guess. This is where the safety line allows us to just dictate the exit. You don't have to guess if you're in consolidation. If price breaks the safety line and we have moved into consolidation, we're out. Okay, amazing. Ricardo wants to know if you can trade Forex on TradeStation. You can, not specifically Forex, but they have futures versions of the currencies that you can trade. So Kinda, yes, Ricardo. Lewis wants to know, what session do you trade? I am a swing trader. I trade the 4-hour time frame. So I don't trade a specific session. So I just trade whenever the price tells me. When the price breaks a trend line on a 4-hour time frame, I'm in. Doesn't matter what session it is. All right, it is 10:01. I have got to get a snack. I've got to take a break. I got to go pee. I'm sure you guys have to do the same. Thank you for hanging out for 3 hours. I have relapsed in being efficient and quick with my words, but thank you guys for bearing with me and walking through this entire journey together, this entire process, this entire masterclass together. I applaud you guys for making it this long. Thank you for hanging out. If you did not get access to the application, I've got the link here. Just right click it, save it. And if you haven't filled it out yet, save it for later. You can come back. If there weren't any more slots to book a call, try to refresh the page. Maybe we were able to open up some slots, but I'm going to leave you guys with that tonight. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you guys on another time. Bye, everybody.
Is it end stream?
Yes.
Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. Obviously.